broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play, check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR-TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio. From NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Good afternoon. Thursday. Okay, so usually Finish Line is on Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. But it's some technical issues yesterday. We had to postpone things, put things back, reset, but we're ready to go. Welcome to Finish Line. Behind me, Talladega. We'll talk about Talladega. Inside my head, inside your voice, he might pop up on camera. Charles Wooten in Texas. It's good to see the band back together after some TD problems yesterday, brother.
Yeah, there we go. It is good to be back.
Good afternoon.
You always talk about getting right to the whip and getting going. We already have guest one connected. I can see him. He's wearing a nice little hat there. It looks cool. I like it.
Hey, that is just the true dedication of the driver, of course, from Wisconsin, of Luke Fenhouse. And we've got a great show here for you. Great guest lineup. And by the way, thanks to everybody that was able to step right back up to the plate, Charles, with our technical issues yesterday. That's something that we cannot control. We had everybody lined up ready to go. To be honest with you, we were in mass communication throughout the entire night, and we made the decision, and I use this term lightly, the midnight hour of actually the high noon hour. It was right before 12 p.m. Eastern before we finally made the call of let's postpone it. And everybody was able to step right back up to the plate, and they were saying, hey, man, we're available. Let's go ahead. We'll reschedule it. No problem. We're good. And we're right now sharing everything. If you care, you must share. We're going to be live on Facebook. We're going to be live on YouTube. We're also on our radio affiliates in the Carolinas for Fox Sports Radio, Community Radio Network, iHeartRadio. We got so many different opportunities now. And if I understand, Charles, coming soon to Twitch? We're going to be coming to Twitch?
Yeah, we are going to be on Twitch. We're just working now. We got to get the access to the email, and then we'll be able to get back on Twitch for racing and also for the podcast.
Yeah, I literally, when you told me that the other week ago, I was like, what is Twitch? Like, I mean, and I'm a social media connoisseur. Like, I normally stay in the loop of everything that's going on, But, I mean, like, I know Elon Musk has bought Twitter, and hopefully that's going to give us the opportunity to have the freedom of speech, and hopefully people not get butthurt over things so easily. And hopefully we'll see 45 come back, and he can put posts out there that love to make everybody just blush and get angry. But I'll just say this, Charles, Twitch is something new to me. So, but you really think that it could be a great streaming software? A lot of gaming, I believe you said gaming people use it. So, hey, it's for a lot of live programming. This is a live show. Of course, there is delay. We can come back and re-air it for archives. But, yeah, man, Twitch, I like that. Sounds good. Going to be fun times. Fun times, brother.
Yes, looking forward to it. And, yeah, like you said, Twitch is all about live shows, like out in the field, live people actually on camera. So the podcast, I think, would be a good spot for it.
Well, let's not waste any time, ladies and gentlemen. They are reset. They are ready to go. Without further ado, here is your guest lineup for today. We got a good show for you. They're all over across the U.S. of A. for today's finish line for April the 28th. By the way, final finish line of April as we roar and soar into May. April showers bring May flowers, as they say. And Mother's Day, Memorial Day, all around the corner. Coming up in just a few moments. A matter of fact, right after we get through this info on the guest lineup at 1:07 Eastern Time, 12:07 Central in his location from Wausau, Wisconsin, Luke Fenhouse, the defending Alan Kulwicki Driver Development Champion and winner of the ARCA Midwest Tour at Slinger Speedway. He joins us on the program. Winner at ARCA. He's won on the dirt in ARCA. His first time on the West Coast at Kern County, Landon River Lewis. Thanks to Candace Hornaday, Ron Hornaday setting it up. The young man is back on finish line again. We have him on the program. Money Matt Hurstman winning the greatest race in the history of spring, the 50th running of the Spring Sizzler in Stafford. He's on at 140. Then we go right in to our number 2, which includes Danny Bone, winner of the Hayes Jewelers 200, probably one of the biggest wins of his racing career, I would probably say. Danny Bone on the program. We talked to him and the driver that runs in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We talked to him, I think, right before Daytona when he announced his announcement of running the truck race with the sponsorship, and I think they're still on board with him. So Danny Bone coming up at the top of the hour of hour 2. Adam Yarborough. I've known Danny Yarborough and Adam Yarborough, the Denver Dirt Slinger, for decades. And finally, he broke through in his first ever Carolina Clash Super Late Model Series win. He's coming up at 2:20 Eastern Time. At 2:35 Eastern, back on finish line again. Winner a couple of weeks ago with the I-95 Late Model Challenge, and now he's won $8,000 in less than 2 weeks at County Line Raceway. Mr. Michael Rouse, the driver out of Wilson, North Carolina, will be joining us to talk about his big career first touring win in dirt with the ultimate Super Late Model Series Tar River Rumble. And finally, to talking about his battles with cancer, to helping out another NASCAR great. The illustration is cartoon man of Mr. Sam Bass, Ed Hines, and him racing late models as well all over the Southeast. From one Wesley to another, Wesley Hawkins will be our final guest on Finish Line. So all of that going on here. We're not going to waste no time. Charles, you ready? We got to catch up from where we were behind yesterday. And you said the early bird catches the worm. He's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I've known this man for at least 4 or 5 years now. Alan Kawicki, driver development champion, man on the ARCA Midwest Tour, winner at Slinger Super Speedway. Luke Fenhouse, welcome to Finish Line, or could I say welcome back to Finish Line, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on today. I think we've been on here once other than this time, so glad to be back on here.
Yeah, I think the last time we had you on, I believe, was whenever you were actually enshrined as the Alan Kawicki Driver Development Champion and having the opportunity to win. No, I think it was the Slinger Nationals, and then you were actually being able to run the SRX event and all that. So, man, can we go back to last summer? How special was that to be a part of that race at your home state and being amongst all those greats? And is the opportunity you're thinking going to be there again in the Slinger Nationals in July to try to run that role? Actually, I don't think they have Slinger on the schedule for SRX, but man, that was a special time though. Can you kind of reminisce on that with us on Finish Line?
Yeah, it was. It was a special moment in my career. It kind of put me out on the radar for all the development programs out there and NASCAR people watching. It really put me out there. So that's kind of where I'm at today, is because of the SRX show. Slinger Nationals was a huge deal, and it's going to be another huge deal this year. So, when I met those guys at the SRX and raced with them and got to know them, they've helped me so much, whether it's been in the back of my contacts list or reaching out as friends or whatever the case may be. They've always been there for me. So huge shout outs to them. And hopefully we can retouch with those guys soon. And hopefully it's in the NASCAR world.
Luke, how exciting was it to get back to racing in Wisconsin this past Sunday afternoon? It looked like, well, actually, let's be honest, it was a full-fledged 3 days of excitement. I saw videos on Racing America and Midwest Tour TV throughout the last 72 hours over the weekend, but the big shows were on Sunday, and you swept them. I mean, every event that was in the super late model programming, Luke, you went out there, and, I mean, you had the most dominant car of the field.
Yeah, I told my crew chief Saturday, I thought we were pretty good right away. We made some adjustments really all day Saturday, and we ended up going back to where we started. So I was really happy with how we rolled off to the box. When we first went out for first practice, I thought it was good shape. With the rules adjusting to no tape and the track being a little slower, I was a little concerned actually right away, but once we mocked up and we knew where everybody else was, I thought we were in a really good position. And I always have a lot of fun coming home and racing up north with my family team, and that's kind of my bread and butter. So that'll always be a special place in my heart.
Being the defending champion of the Alan Kawicki Driver Development Program, and shout out to my friend Tom Roberts and everybody that's involved in that, such great people. What did that mean to you to have the opportunity to carry the banner for KDDP, but to then win the championship, to win the Mighty Mouse Trophy? And what does that mean to your career, Alan, being a KDDP champion in honor and memory and homage of Mr. Alan Kawicki, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. It was huge when I first got into the program with Derek Griffith and Jeremy Doss, and it was just like a whole nother, ball game to the racing career, and it really brought me on my feet on my community service involvement and even my social media. I mean, we've never been so so on top of our social medias before the Quickie program, and that made us on top of everything. It made us realize a lot, and we learned so much about Alan's history and his involvement in the racing career, and it was such an honor to be a part of that program. And now to carry the championships list means so much more.
All right, Charles, I know normally you've got some crazy questions. Sometimes he says some things that make sense. So, Luke, listen in to Texas, and my producer, Charles Wooten's got a question for you here on Finish Line.
This one is not one of those that makes sense, just so you know. So, I usually have debates with people about different stuff. One week it was anchovies or pineapple on pizza. I prefer neither anyway. This week it's if you eat popcorn, because this is what we've been talking about lately. Do you prefer like the popcorn from a movie theater where it's extra salty and buttery, or bag popcorn?
I love going to the movies and getting some popcorn. So definitely movie popcorn.
Well, there you go. That's he. I like him even more now because that's what I go with. Where so much
I would say the same thing. I would say the same thing exactly. Hey, you can bring me back on camera too, by the way, with Luke. And I will let you know this as well, since we're all the fan and lovers of the movies. Father Stew, newest movie by Mark Wahlberg. You need to go see it. I saw it last Friday on a day date, and it was perfect. It was an awesome movie. Go check out Father Stew. It has a little bit of abusive language and content at the beginning, but as it gets down to the mid to the end of the movie, it's a great message. It's a great story. So Father Stew, if you are interested in going to the movies and wanting to find something to watch. Luke Finhouse is with us. Luke, Midwest Tour sweep over the weekend at Slinger. Are you going for that championship? Where are we going to see Luke Finhouse this year? Where all is that number 4 car going to be?
Yeah, the number 4 car is mainly just going to be run 10 races in Wisconsin and then 2 out of Wisconsin with Winchester 400 and Nashville. So those are the only 12 races that the 4 car has on its schedule. We're going to be kind of hit and miss in the Midwest Tour as our priority is down south with the Highlands Motorsports team. We're just doing what we can to come back up here and race the 4 car and still have some fun and hopefully win some races.
I see. So, and obviously the plan, besides running Slinger, the Slinger Nationals, is it time to prepare for the big shows? Is that what you're going after? The Snowball Derby, the Oxford 250, the All-American, all of those big events, obviously. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think so. It's just trying to get my name the most exposure as it can get. With that being going into Nashville, trying to go to Snowball and things like that. Obviously we're really good at Slinger, and Slinger Nationals really helped us a bunch. And we're trying to do the exact same thing, but there's a lot of big races up here as well. So we really want to win those and run good in those as well. But for the main part, it's just trying to get exposure out there and hopefully go to the next level.
Luke, did you actually realize, did it ever sink in how damn close you came to winning that race at Slinger on national TV on CBS? I'll be honest with you. Me and Patrick Hahey of Racing America, what was formerly known as Speed 51 TV, we were actually at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Indiana, at Anderson, Indiana, because I was working the Redbud 400, and I literally was like jumping out of my seat from that final restart, about spilled my beer, if you will, cheering you on, and all the while you got the Major League Baseball here, and you got the hockey here, and you got everything else there. And me and Patrick were like, put it on CBS, put on SRX. God looked at me and he said, "What is SRX? I'm going to smack you." Like, seriously. And literally there's like no, I'm serious, Charles. There's like a literally 19-inch television. Everything else is freaking big sporting events and UFC, people beating the hell out of each other. And they put on a little 19-inch TV, the SRX race, and it's like I need binoculars to zoom in. But I did see you and saw the move you made, and luckily for the hearing impaired and for people that are in sports loud places, they had the closed captioning. And I saw Alan Bestwick say, "Here comes Luke Finhouse," and I was like, "Oh my God, he's got a shot to win this thing," And I say this humbly, just like out of the gate with SRX when Doug Coby won at Stafford, it gives an opportunity to really show that grassroots, and I don't mean to say this word term disrespectfully, not the word grassroots, but the underdog. You race for KDDP. That's the underdog story of Alan Kawicki and that program. An underdog, somebody that doesn't really get a lot of credibility, but if they get a shot, they've got an opportunity to stick themselves out there, and that's something that you did for sure.
Yeah, that's what I really look at it like that. You know, the grassroots racing part of it was really cool. Even with the Quickie program, I think they need more of the grassroots racing. It's hard because there's so much money involved in it now. But to get me on the radar, to get me an opportunity, that's what was huge for us. The SRX gave us an opportunity for a young kid with not a whole lot of money to come in and show what they got. So that's what was big for us. And hopefully we get another chance in an ARCA car or truck race someday. But for right now, I'm sticking to winning super late model races.
All right, Luke. So I'm going to turn Charles back over to you again. He says that he actually has a smart question this time. So like smart cars, here's a smart question with Charles on finish line. Go ahead, Charles.
You even kind of went over this a little bit, Wesley. When I was thinking about this, you talk about
you stole my question.
Yeah, I did. You talk about getting these, chances to run in SRX and, Alan Quickly program, stuff like that. As far as getting noticed, I'm curious from a driver's standpoint what the mentality is. Would you rather go to, race at these local tracks and just dominate? Or would you rather run, second or third and win some races against bigger names? Which would you rather do as a driver? I would think, second and third against bigger names would probably get you noticed a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I always love competing against Ty Majeski. I consider him one of the best short track racers in America. So for him to go to Slinger on a weekly basis, or for him to go anywhere and race with us, I think that's great. I think you need to race against that because it just proves, the harder competition, it just makes you a better driver overall. So I love to put myself in different positions and odd positions to make me a better race car driver, testing new cars, testing new places. Anything that helps me, I would like to do. So I would rather choose finishing second or third and racing against a lot tougher competition than just running at my weekly home racetrack and winning all the time.
And you know what? And there's nothing wrong with getting out of your comfort zone because, honestly, Luke, that's going to take you to another level. When you finally were able to go to different places, and I don't want to go off subject here, but I think of my good friend Austin Holcomb, awesome Austin. We had him on finish line a couple of weeks ago after he won the Bristol race, and now, and Charles, I don't even know if you know this, buddy, he went to Eldora Speedway, first time at Eldora. He won that race with the Castrol Flow Racing Night in America with the modifieds. He's gone to other racetracks. He's getting out of his comfort zone. And honestly, once you finally get that rhythm of, okay, I've won here at home, I've dominated at home, everybody knows that Luke Fenhouse can win at Slinger Speedway, and they're not taking anything away from you. I mean, you honestly can. You look at the credentials, you look at previous races at Slinger Super Speedway, and 9 times out of 10, if you're not the guy on the podium as the winner, you are at least in the hunt, making you're making it known that you're up there to contend for sure. For now obviously you race against guys like Ty Majeski and guys of the Midwest, and you making your name in the Midwest and across the country, I think is phenomenal. Luke, I've got one more question for you because we do got to get Landon River Lewis on, the Kern County ARCA winner of the West Series, of course, the ARCA Series in action at Dover Motor Speedway tomorrow. Coverage on FS1 and the Motor Racing Network for that event. And we'll talk with Landon Lewis here in a minute. But final question from here, and it's a big one. We're seeing costs on the rise just to survive in life. And I think you're probably one of the first Midwest drivers we've had on finish line this year since finally things have thawed out, the snow's melted away, things are warming up, which, by the way, it looked like it was still pretty damn cold up in Slinger, Wisconsin as well this past Saturday and Sunday. Where do you see the state of racing in the Midwest, Luke? Final question on Finish Line, buddy.
Honestly, I don't know if you'll be surprised with my answer or not, but it's so hard to beat this competition. I think the short track racing in Wisconsin is really not hurting at all. I think you go to places like down south and me running the Cars Tour program in the Pro Late Model with Highlands Motorsports.
Sure.
I'm starting to realize that a lot more, that there's not a lot of fans down there. You know, there's not a lot of people that come to the track, and up here there's 35 degrees and the racetrack's sold out, and you know, there's 36 cars, and you know, the back runners might be a little you know, got some learning to do, but the top 10 can all win on a weekly basis, and that's what I stand for. Is the Midwest racing has taught me so much, and there's so much competition. It's so hard to beat guys like Ty Majeski, Casey Johnson, Dalton Zier, Derek Kraus. All of them guys are in the top 10 every week. And so to race against them guys and learn the respect you race with for those guys is a big thing that I've learned. And I think that's what has taught me who I am today. So for sure, the competition level up in the Midwest and the whole short track racing itself is doing really well in the Midwest.
Well, listen, Luke, we got our next guest on the program right on schedule. That's a good thing here because I've got a crazy schedule. I know all you drivers do as well. Before I let you go, man, on Finish Line, let everybody know where you're racing at this weekend and your sponsors.
Yes, sir. We'll be in Madison Speedway for the Joe Shear Classic ARCA Midwest Tour race, and join us. Our number 4 Soda Sen Chevrolet should be up front. We're hoping to do the exact same thing as last week.
Well, Luke, man, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on Finish Line. Always great catching up with you, sir. And, of course, congratulations to you. Much success throughout the rest of 2022. You win some more big races, Mighty Mouse champion. We'll have you back on the show as always, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, buddy. From Wausau, Wisconsin, ladies and gentlemen, winner, of course, of the Alan Kowicki Driver Development Championship last year and winner at Slinger Super Speedway with the Midwest Tour. That is Mr. Luke Fenhouse. And now we go from Luke Fenhouse in Wisconsin down to Race City, USA in Mooresville, North Carolina. I think so. There he is. Yes, sir. And joining us on the program, back again on Finish Line, is the young man. Of course, this guy's awesome. It's not a B this time, I swear. It's Landon Lewis, Landon River Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, out of North Carolina, but now residing in Race City, USA, Hornaday Race Cars, and, of course, Joe Ryan racing on the Legends cars. And I think, am I right, Landon? You're going dirt Legends car racing this weekend from an ARCA win in California. I got this. I got you. You go from I just killed a fly on the air. You go from the damn pesky things. You go from an ARCA win in the West at Kern County on Saturday, and now you're slinging dirt with a dirt Legends car, man. I just love that about you, Landon. Welcome back to Finish Line.
Yes, Wesley. Thank you for having me back.
You're certainly welcome. Where are you racing at this weekend? Just right out of the gate. I did see some posts where you're getting the Dirt Legends car ready.
Yes, sir. We're making up the trip up to Pennsylvania this weekend to run at Linda's Raceway and Path Valley. So really looking forward to getting back up there. We have win at one racetrack and the other we finished second. So really looking forward to get back up there and see if we can pick up both wins.
So how do you adapt so quickly from running an ARCA car all the way in the West Coast, surviving also what would be jet lag? Because, come on, you're in the West Coast time zone. You're an East Coast guy like I am. Hello. And then in addition to that, still trying to find a way to be competitive and win, and you're doing it, man. You got it. You got it going on.
Yes, sir. I've been having a blast going out to the West Coast and getting the win with Ron and all his fans out there. Was just a really neat deal.
Certainly. Hey, listen, I don't know if it's the lighting, Landon, or maybe you could bring your camera to the left or the right or something. Maybe clean off the lens. Maybe it looks a little smudgy. Maybe so we'll work on that. There you go. That's much better. Isn't it better, Charles? See, I caught that. There we go. We got you much better now. So we moved you too far. Just stay right there where you're at, Landon. So where did they put you, in a closet? Is that your
Oh no,
office,
sir.
Landon?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man. Hey, listen. So Kern County, you've never seen that place from Adam and Eve when you arrived there on Saturday. And I'll tell you this, or Friday afternoon, you can look at video, you can look at logistics, you can talk strategy, but what's the mindset of finally getting in the car and just racing with those guys and gals and being on top and winning? And by the way, at your young age, now 2 career ARCA national wins. You won on the ARCA Racing Tour, National Series on dirt, and now you've won on the ARCA West Series at Kern County. And that was your first ARCA West start in my career, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, in your career, right out. I mean, I know it's ARCA races you've ran, so and you made a big announcement a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, obviously, winning at Kern County, that's got to up the ante and make that sponsor want to stay more with you. Have you had any good news come from that, buddy?
Yes, we've had some great news, and like you're saying about going out to the West Coast and going to Kern County. I've never been to that place before, but I watched a lot of videos going out there, and that 5-hour plane flight gets kind of boring at times. So pulled the races up and watched both races from 2019 and 2020, and just learned a lot. And then with the help of Joey Coulter with Driver Refine, we did a lot of pre-race stuff before going out there, and I think that just put me a step ahead of the competition.
Certainly did, for sure. Charles in Texas, we're going to talk about popcorn or movie theaters, or what kind of question have you got for Landon Lewis on Finish Line for your question out of Texas right now?
I think we're going to stick with the popcorn. That's the question of the day is popcorn. We asked it earlier. If you eat popcorn, do you prefer the bag kind where all the butter sticks to the bag, or do you like the more fresh kind like you get at the movie theater where you can salt and butter it yourself?
I think I would prefer the butter stuck to the back.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get rid of.
I think anybody would. Who the hell eats who eats popcorn out of a microwave? I mean, seriously, I don't even do that. I mean, do you do that? Well, actually, as much as Charles likes popcorn, he might. So he definitely.
The reasoning behind this question is I'm trying to reason with myself and convince myself I need a popcorn maker like a movie theater has. So, that's the reasoning behind these questions.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Okay. Dirt racing for Legends cars this weekend. Obviously, I got to save us, Landon, because we're going off the deep end here talking about – wait a minute. I got to bring this in. You're going to buy a popcorn maker for your house? Is that what you're talking about, Charles?
Yeah, the kind that has the little kettle-looking thing where you put the popcorn in, the oil, butter, salt, and then it pops and you dump it out. Yes. That's what I'm going to eat during the podcast.
There you go. Eat
There's
popcorn while we're live on
everything.
Finish Line. That's exactly right. Hopefully he don't choke on a kernel. Landon, hopefully he don't choke on a kernel while we're on the air. It was for sure. Hey, we're with Landon Lewis, and hey, man, I know we talked about this, and you can bring me back on camera with him now, Charles, if you can, if you're not choking on a popcorn. If it's, I know we've talked about this, Landon, but what has Ron Hornaday and Candace, Joe Ryan, everybody that's been a part of what has been in your life, and of course, obviously, your mom and your dad, Jonathan, and so many people that I've come to know over the years as well. At such a young age, what do they mean to you and allowing you to build up your resume? I'm telling you, I got a feeling one day we're going to see you in NASCAR. I mean, I'm calling my shot here on Finish Line, but I think it's humbling the way that they're making you grow in the sport. What's your take on that, Landon?
Yes, I'm just very thankful to have all those people behind me. You mentioned Ron, my family, Candace, Joe Ryan. They just all been a huge part in my career, and I will never forget that. Because you got to start somewhere, and to have those amazing people in your corner is just a huge deal. And it's just, I think with the help of these guys, we'll definitely have a shot. Just gotta hopefully everything just plays out like they should.
Well, I'll tell you what. Looking at the way that you dominate, well, okay, so the dirt race is one thing, but then you turn around and you win the race at Kern County. Was the track? What was it like? Well, obviously you've got credentials and you've got a background on dirt and pavement, but Kern County race be so much more sweeter than the dirt race, or is it still that dirt race from last summer still the one you'll always treasure?
I would probably just say they even out on top. To get a win in an ARCA is just huge. Especially at a young age and only having four starts in ARCA period. So I think they even out on top of the leaderboard. But it's just huge. Kern County, I've never been there, like I said, and just to show up and see that place and how nice that facility was. It was definitely first class, and the racetrack was awesome. The racing was amazing. So I'll definitely be making a trip back out there.
And listen, West Coast guys like Cole Raz and, of course, Ross Dalton, Dylan Zampa, also young drivers. What was it like to hang out with them? What was it like to get some, hey, man, we got one of the best on the East Coast here coming to the West Coast, and you're getting the opportunity to see what they can do. I think Dylan Zampa won like all the pro late model races at Kern over the weekend, and we wanted to schedule him on Finish Line a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately, he's a young man, and he's actually in school. So, yeah, we got to wait till we get him out for the summer. School's out for summer, like Alice Cooper says. Then we'll bring him on Finish Line. But for you finished school. But what's it like watching these West Coast drivers? And what did you say? He can't. See, and now I've got dead air on the air because he's talking to me in my ear, but y'all aren't hearing it because I don't hear the echo. But anyhow, Landon, what I was saying was getting the opportunity to see these West Coast drivers and see their talents. Do y'all exchange notes? Do you guys hang out and talk? What's that been like going on the West Coast doing that swing?
Yeah, it's huge having Ron go out there with me, and you sit there at night, and after, even if we didn't win, everyone just gets in a circle, and you just hear a bunch of stories and great stories and things that just are really cool, and how Ron grew up and stuff like that. Just seeing all the great and amazing drivers out on the West Coast, they're definitely class acts, and for me to go out there and kind of meet those people and get to meet new people was really cool to me, and just get to be able to race. And they race really clean and hard, so that's always a good thing.
So we saw. Is the plan, Landon, to try to run the ARCA Menard series full time in the years to come, or is it right now you're kind of just here, there, wherever opportunities arise? Late models, are you going to try to run a late model car? Are you going to try to look at Martinsville or the Snowball Derby, or is it still very young for you right now in your aspirations of what you want to do for goal wise?
Yeah, I would love to go run the Snowball Derby. That'd be really cool. That's probably one of the biggest races of the year in late models. And it ranks up there with NASCAR. That race is pretty huge. There's a lot of races that I would like to go do. It's just waiting on the opportunity to come along. I'm really not set on anything right now. Just waiting for different options to come on the table, and we'll see what we got to do.
But one thing I do like about you, though, Landon, and by the way, I'm understanding that Matt Hirschman has connected with us, so we'll go to Matt Hirschman here in a few minutes. But one thing that I do like about you, Landon, and with running with Candace Hornaday and Ron Hornaday on your PR and your racing program package, and your dad, Jonathan, and Joe Ryan race cars, you're diversified. You're not afraid to go from an ARCA car or a modified on pavement and then run a Legends car on dirt. You don't feel like you're not above running a Legends car, I think is the appropriate word to say, because I think that's what I've always admired about you, young man, is you're humble. And if you have the opportunity to race two people on a bicycle, I think you would do it because you just love racing.
Yes, I love racing. I like the competitive. You get to line up next to someone. I mean, it comes from running. It comes from a lot of different things that it doesn't matter. I'm very competitive, and I like racing. It's definitely a sport not made for everyone. It takes a special person to live out that dream, and I'm just very thankful for all the people that surrounded me and willing to help me out as many years to come.
Well, listen, we got to let you go because I think we've got Money Matt Hirschman coming up. He went the greatest race in the history of spring, the Spring Sizzler, of course, at Stafford Speedway over the weekend. But before I do let you go, man, thank your sponsors, Landon. It's always good catching up with you. It flies by so fast.
Yes, it does. But yeah, I'd like to thank Billy and Tanner with 19th Green. They've been huge to my career and just done a lot for me. Especially like to thank Bruce Cook and Steve McCormick with all the guys at Cook Racing Technologies. They brought me an amazing car out to Kern, and they worked their butts off. So I'm proud of them and proud of that team that we joined up with. Definitely like to thank my mom and dad, family. They're huge to me and just been a huge support. Ron Hornaday, he's an amazing person, and I'm thankful to have him in my corner. Rent Source, Chris and Brian Branson with TSC, they've been huge. Jason Smalls with MMI, they're a big help in my career too. And like Candace Hornaday and the tire team with Team Hornaday Development, they're awesome people, and they're great to work with. And Joe Ryan for taking the weekend off to come and spot for me. That was a pretty neat deal. Billy Workman for being on the pits and just kind of willing to jump in at any time. And Joey Coulter with Driver Refine helping me get ready for the race, and just Dave Reeves and everyone that just makes this deal possible. And I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come on the show.
Oh, always, man. It's always great. I mean, since the first time we ever met each other, I think it was about 3-4 years ago at a Legends race at Dillon Motor Speedway during I believe it was the New Year's Bash. You have just built your resume and built your name, and I'm so proud of you. And I wish you nothing but continued success. Don't lose that humbleness that you have. I always say that in closing because I think it's definitely going to take you far. There's so many guys that I know in this industry. Once they make it to the big time, they forget about where they come from, and they don't have time for people. And don't lose that, Landon. Don't be the outsider into the realm of that world of things for sure. And of course, all the knowledge that Ron Hornaday, Candace, and your dad and Joe Ryan and so many great people have helped you is just so phenomenal. Listen, next ARCA race, we got to get Matt Hirschman on, but where's your next ARCA race going to be? Can you at least tell us that on Finish Line? I know you're running Legends cars this weekend in Pennsylvania.
Yes, I would love to tell you, but I don't have really any ARCA races planned next. So it's kind of up in the air, and just waiting for another opportunity to come along.
How exciting would it be right in your back door to have the opportunity to run Memorial Day weekend at Charlotte?
That would be amazing opportunity, and just waiting for someone to come along and willing to help me. So thank you, Wesley, and I can't wait to be on the show next.
All right, buddy. Safe travels in Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, that, of course, is the young man out of Supply, North Carolina, now in Race City, USA, Mr. Landon River Lewis here on Finish Line. Now we go from down into North Carolina, the North Hempstead, Pennsylvania, and the winner of the greatest race in the history of spring. He is ready to go. I think the last time we had him on Finish Line, he was outside. We're fighting internet, the wind, the cold. He's in a nice, comfortable place in his house right now. Matt Hirschman, welcome back to Finish Line, or should I say big money. Boku's of money. You're racking up the money in modified racing this year. Has it settled in that a lot of media and even race fans, social media posts, hello keyboard warriors out there, I'm talking about you, are calling you, Matt, the greatest modified racer in this era for open wheel on pavement?
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. We've been on a kind of success for sure for several years now. And when you can win a race and say it's one of the ones you've ever won, coming off of, years of success and winning some of, some big races and some of the races with the most history and some good belts and things that go along with achieving things and rank them right up there, and this certainly was one of those for sure.
We're having some internet difficulties on the end where Matt Hirschman is. Maybe he's got. I don't know if Matt, if you're connected to Wi-Fi or not, or if there's. You're not very. The signal isn't very good, but anyhow, we'll try to stay here with you and Matt Hirschman. Matt, Ben Dodge calls it the greatest race in the history of spring, and I have said this. You are going to be remembered for the Spring Sizzler, not only because you're a winner finally of that race. I'll never forget the battle between you and Old Blue, Ryan Priest. I mean, what everybody loves in modified racing on pavement, it lived its hype at Stafford on Sunday night. But just like as we'll always remember Ryan Newman as winning the 50th Daytona 500, we'll always remember Matt Hirschman winning the golden anniversary of the Spring Sizzler. Did that settle in Sunday night when you finally took the checkered flag just before 10 o'clock Eastern time in Connecticut? Or was it just, man, I'm just so happy I've won this thing? Did we lose Matt? I think we've lost Matt. I think we lost Matt. Maybe we can try to reconnect with him again here. It looks like I've become pixelated too. Did you change the bit rate or something?
Incredible.
I got you. Matt, can you hear me? Matt Hirschman, do you have a copy? Everybody, we're having some technical difficulties. We're going to try to reconnect with Matt Hirschman, Spring Sizzler winner. I think it's something going on with his internet, his location. We're going to try to go offline to try to help him out real quickly. We'll try to reconnect. We're back with Finish Line in just a moment.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outlet, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play, check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSR-TV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
We are back on Finish Line. I believe Matt Hirschman has moved to a different location. Maybe he's got a different phone. Matt, are you back with us, buddy? His video froze. I think it froze again. We're trying it. As you can tell, this is not an art. We had technical issues yesterday with our network servers, but this is something going on in Hampstead, Pennsylvania. Matt, are you back with me, buddy? Can you see me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, trying a different location here. How does it sound?
It does. It sounds great. Change the lighting up a little bit, but I think it's worked better for sure. So, listen, welcome back. I don't know how much you caught from the beginning. So I'll go right back to the question that I asked. And what I was saying was that, you'll always remember the 50th. We remember when Ryan Newman won the 50th Daytona 500. When you won at Stafford on Sunday night, had it settled in that you were the 50th winner of the Spring Sizzler, or were you just so happy to finally win that event? Because that's been a race, if you look at your credentials and statistics, which are so damn impressive, that's a race that's always lured you until winning that and getting a chance to drink the milk and be a part of the celebration on Sunday night.
Yeah, there was an incredible amount of emotion involved, just with so much at stake. Being the 50th anniversary. My father was a past winner of the Spring Sizzler, so to join him on that list, the first father-son duo to win the Spring Sizzler, we've done that in the Race of Champions before, which is probably the only race with a longer running history and tradition in modified racing than the Spring Sizzler. And then knowing the opportunity to race with the SRX went to the winner. It was an incredible amount of emotion and excitement that it's really taken all week for it to sink in. It's been quite an experience, and it's an honor to win this race for sure. It's it was a huge deal. A lot of hype coming into it, and the race lived up to the hype, and that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, Matt, that had to been really exciting to have Alan Bestwick, longtime commentator, broadcaster, and lead anchor for CBS Sports and the Superstar Racing Experience, to hand you the golden ticket, if you will, if you want to think of the Willy Wonka chocolate factory terminology, hand you the golden ticket and say, hey, look, you're in the SRX race. I think it's July 2nd at Stafford Motor Speedway, and that's where it all started. And you think of another guy in the modifieds, and I mentioned it with Luke Finhouse, because he ran the SRX race at Slinger last summer and he finished second. You think of Doug Coby, and you think of what he did out of the gate, an underdog. And I say that word with no disrespect, because I got love for all of you guys. I mean, I really do. I see you guys a lot more than you see the guys on the national stage. But it's honestly, Matt, if you get a shot, if you get a chance, you got to take it, and that puts you on an opportunity on a grand stage to be promoted and to have so many people become a fan of Matt Hirschman coming up in July at Stafford.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity. Going to be on the national stage and the spotlight on primetime CBS network. Definitely looking forward to that. We got a few months until then. But it's certainly something that's going to be the biggest thing ahead of me in this season as we move forward. Just a great opportunity. I look at it as a once in a lifetime opportunity, and to be able to be on the track with some of the world's greatest drivers that have accomplished Indy 500 wins, Daytona 500 wins, championships in both IndyCar and NASCAR, and it's really going to be a neat experience. I'm looking forward to
it. Okay, so let's go back to Sunday. By the way, props to Flow Racing. They did a phenomenal job. So many streaming platforms get so criticized for the coverage that they do, or they cheat the fan. But I can really tell you that it looked like Flow Racing and the Stafford Motor Speedway Productions program, Kyle, Ricky, Ben Dodge, the pit reporters, the pre-race, all of the interviews that was done, really hyped up that race for sure. Let's go back to the race in general. It is a phenomenal event, but to race Old Blue, to race Ryan Preece, for it to come down between Hirschman and Matt Money and Old Blue, what did that mean to you? Obviously, as I told somebody, and I saw the social piece posts on hashtag Spring Sizzler on Sunday night. Probably some of the best modified racing you'll ever see, with some of the best modified drivers of this era going at it.
Yeah, for Ryan's a great competitor to race with. We've had a lot of races over the years, from New Smyrna, Florida, to short tracks in New Hampshire. We've had some great battles for wins, and to beat him in the fashion we did, where it was back and forth on several late restarts, and it was that for all the hype going into the event, which Stafford Speedway did a phenomenal job with the build up and the hype going into the event. It lived up to the hype, and I was part of one of the probably more memorable finishes to a spring sizzler and races that there is in the 50-year history. So that regardless if who won, both of us should be proud of that. I believe it will be one of the, and some people have said it was one of the best races they've ever watched. So it's very to be very proud to be part of something like that in the 50th anniversary. It lived up to and it got the finish it deserved.
Hey, listen, Matt, you can bring me back beside him. Matt Hirschman joining us here on Finish Line. We're back here again. We got a question about popcorn and other with Charles coming up with his random shenanigans here in a few moments. But, Matt, I just want to go back to the racing side of things, man. Listen, since the season started with the NASCAR wheel and modified race at New Smyrna, you won that prestigious event, the inaugural event. It's coming back next year. You've won on the Smart Modified Tour. You won, of course, I think it was at Southern National in Florence. Then you won the race at South Boston. And that's another race I want to kind of get back on, because that was a special race, the Roy Hendrick race, the Flying 11 race. So much knowledge, and the man, Mr. Hendrick, in modified racing in this part of the Southeast and even in the country, was so respected. What did that mean? Not only taking away that, winning the Spring Sizzler this past weekend, but go back to winning that race at South Boston. That looked like that was a pretty monumental, exciting race that the Smart Modified Tour put on in Virginia, and you won it.
Yeah, and what was neat about it was the having the Flying 11 there to pace the field, and the family of Ray Hendrick and being a part of that. And then after the race, the winner was going to take a couple of victory laps alongside the Flying 11. So again, people have asked, where do I rank the Spring Sizzler win? And it's very high for sure. But then there are other races that are memorable for different reasons, and that was one of them. Just just a cool opportunity to get to do that, and it's really things like that. Sometimes a big win might be because of what it paid. Maybe it's because of the type of race it was. Maybe it's because if it's some sort of anniversary race or a memorial race in memory of a driver that we've lost. There's all kinds of ways in which races can be rank high or be memorable, and that was one of them. We enjoyed running with the Smart Modified Tour group in the spring, early spring. At least it was spring in the South before it really. Racing opened up here in the Northeast.
Sure.
But now things are going to be quite busy up here, but we look forward to running with them again sometime later this year. And like I said, we got a lot ahead of us, but really a lot of positives for modified racing right now.
All right, Charles, what do you got for Money Matt Hirschman?
That same question everybody else is getting tonight. If you eat popcorn, some people don't, do you prefer the popcorn out of the bag and you put in the microwave, or do you prefer the movie-style popcorn where it's salt and buttered and they do it manually?
I'm not really a popcorn person, to be honest, and I don't get to watch many movies because all I do is pretty much work on race cars. So yeah, I'm not really too much into movies and popcorn.
There you go. I'd take race cars over popcorn anyways. So.
There you go. Popcorn over race cars for sure. Hey, a few more minutes with Matt Hirschman. Hard to believe we're already flew by into hour number one. We're coming up on the top of the hour. We'll get ready for Danny Bone, the winner at Bowman Gray Stadium of the Haley's Jewelers 200, coming up at 2:05. So about 6-7 more minutes with Mr. Matt Hirschman. Money Matt out of North Hampstead, Pennsylvania. Well, I was going to ask you, what's the plan? Obviously, we've seen you in the Carolinas. We've seen you down running in the Smart Modified Tour, the NASCAR NASCAR Wheeling Tour. Race of Champions is about to fire up. The big modified races, I guess, are underway. You won the big race in the greatest race in the history of spring, the Spring Sizzler. Are you gonna kind of stay up in the Northeast or in that area, or are we gonna see you come back down south? What is the plan? What are you gonna try to run towards touring championships, or are you just running towards big money?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really believe we're really chasing points anywhere. We're racing to win races, and so far we've done that. And right now, there's a lot of things like you mentioned that are just opening in the Northeast. So the Race of Champions series is opens next weekend in May.
That's right.
At Chemung Speedrome in New York. This coming weekend, before we jump past this weekend, the Tri-Track Series opens at Monadnock in New Hampshire. My home track, which I started my career at, opens on Sunday at Evergreen Raceway in Pennsylvania. So, like I said, things are really just opening up here. There'll be opportunities to race with all the different groups that we have or are going to, throughout the season, and including Smart maybe later this year again. And the Wheel and Tour, we'll hit a few more races with them. And there's a lot of potentials out there, and we'll just see how things go, and if we can continue to win races and prepare cars to be able to win races, we'll try and keep up at the pace we're going. But if needed, we got to skip something. We're not really chasing points anywhere that we are committed to anything.
Would this win at Stafford, would you say, Matt, and let's be honest, man, you got some awesome credentials and you have won so many prestigious races, but would this race on this past Sunday night, the 50th Spring Sizzler, as big as the race that it is at Stafford and in modified racing in the Northeast, would you say that was probably the biggest modified win of your career, or is there one that tops that?
Well, I think I sort of touched on this already. It's hard to say because there are wins that are memorable for different reasons, and it also might be what it did for your career at that point as well. One of the earliest wins I had in my career might have been opened the door to the next opportunity to further my career and things like that. So it's really hard to rank them or say what is. And I also, obviously, this week has been an incredible week. So being in the moment right now, sure, I would say, yeah, it's at the top. But again, there were other races at times in my career. The Spring Sizzler, I had some starts in the Sizzler, but not recently. So it wasn't a race where I'll use the Race of Champions, for example. There were several years where I was in a position or possibly had the car to win, or it was in a position to win, and something happened that I didn't. And it's almost like, remember, obviously, Dale Earnhardt in the Daytona 500, so many years of trying and had, different things happen and flat tires and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, I feel like, we had sort of like that in the Race of Champions. So when I won that first Race of Champions, the relief was incredible because I had tried so many times continuously to win the race and had something happen that we didn't win, where I hadn't made a Spring Sizzler start since I think 2014. So from that standpoint, it wasn't really because of so many years of trying or failure or anything like that. But again, this race had just so much hype and build up and at stake, and it did turn out to be the biggest payday of my career. We had set that last year in a tri-track event at Star Speedway, the SBM race there, with the help of Kevin Rice. It added a lot of bonus money to it, which also this Spring Sizzler win came with a lot of bonus money in terms of lap money and some other bonuses that I was able to get. So again, it's right up there. And in some ways it probably is the top, but there are other races that based on the timing or what they meant to me, that maybe I wouldn't go that far as to say that. It's hard to really rank them is the best way to put it.
Yeah, close to a $22,000 payday for the driver, of course, of money, Matt Hirschman. And listen, Charles, have you got a racing question for Matt before we do let him go? I know we got Danny Bone coming up in about less than a minute. So, do you have a final question, a racing related question, not food?
You know, I don't have a question, but obviously he's out there, winning these races and getting some big money. So just congrats on that. Keep going and get that big money.
Hey, Matt. So I'll segue him. I'll ask you a question, and I think he'll like this. Dirt racing, Matt. Have you ever considered dirt racing as big and successful as you are in pavement modifieds? Have you ever thought about running dirt modifieds anywhere, Matt, or a late model for that matter?
Well, I'm a big fan of dirt racing of all types. Mostly, I would say, especially being from Pennsylvania. In central Pennsylvania, the sprint cars are really big. I'm in eastern Pennsylvania, sure. But dirt 410 sprint cars are huge in Pennsylvania, and the traveling circuits, the All Stars, and the World of Outlaws. I'm a big fan of that type of racing. We do have a lot of dirt modified racing in the Northeast, and I've seen some of the dirt late model stuff, but not near as much as sprint cars and dirt modified. So I'm a real big fan of dirt racing. I watch a lot of it on Flow Racing and the streaming services. But as far as driving myself, the thought, yes, but usually it's something it quickly goes away because I know what it's taken me to get to the level I'm at in asphalt racing and asphalt modifieds in general. That would be like a complete restart in terms of my career. So it's not something that I'm going to pursue, but certainly trying it or that would interest me. But I'm not going to do a complete restart of my career, that's for sure. But I do enjoy some dirt racing, both live and lots of it now with Flow Racing that I get to see.
Yeah, for sure. Flow Racing, Racing America, MAV TV Plus, so many platforms out there where you can be able to keep up with the races. Well, listen, Money Matt Hirschman, congratulations to you. Another big win. You're pocketing those dollars. Before we do let you go on that number 60 machine for PD Motorsports, let's thank your sponsors, and we appreciate you taking the time. I think it's the third time this year joining us here on Finish Line.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And when I do run the Black 60, which we did at New Smyrna and the Smart Tour, that is the PD Motorsports.
Gotcha.
And when I'm the red one, that's actually a Matt Hirschman Motorsports 60. The car is the red car.
That's your car.
But it's one big team, to be honest. Though we have all the same crew that follows and helps with both teams, and wouldn't be possible without their help and the sponsors that we have. So we're kind of one big team, but just two separate sort of cars there, with the PD Motorsports car and then my own stuff, and but one big team that's doing an excellent job, and we'll just try and keep it up throughout the rest of the year.
Well, Money, congratulations to you, man. Much success, safe travels wherever you go, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, business calls.
Yes, sir. Money Matt Hirschman, ladies and gentlemen, out of North Hampstead, Pennsylvania, winner of the greatest race in the history of spring, the 50th Spring Sizzler, of course, at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut over the weekend. But he's won so many other races. I mean, we've had him on when he won New Smyrna. We've had him on when he's won these other shows. There's no telling, man, the awesome credentials. We now go to another driver that is joining us on as we now kick off hour number 2 a finish line on a Thursday, might I add. Scheduled for Wednesday, had some technical errors, and we had to work on postponing things until today, but we're ready to go in hour number 2. Back with us again is one of the drivers that not only competes in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, we've had him on finish line before, but also in the modifieds, and one of the greats here now, and the winner of from Matt Hirschman to Bowman Gray Stadium and the Madhouse, and the winner of the Hayes Jewelers 200, which, mind you, biggest modified race in the South, in my opinion, when it comes to open wheel modifieds, not just for Bowman Gray Stadium. It's up there with like the North-South shootout. Probably it's the North-South shootout of the spring. Danny Bone, welcome back to Finish Line, sir. And I see you're not going to be standing up outside. You're actually in the confines of a air-conditioned car, and you're relaxing.
Well, the air's not on. I don't have the engine running, but
I got you.
no, thank you for back on. I am working. I'm down at Road Atlanta helping a guy with this HSR. It's a Historic Racing Association road racing stuff. So down here working. Just jumped in the hauler real quick to do this interview, but thank you for having me back on.
Well, listen, thank you for taking the time out of your crazy schedule. And I say this all the time every week when we do our 2-hour motorsports form of Finish Line. A lot of these guys are not full-time career guys like NASCAR or ARCA or dirt people. You've got full-time jobs. You race in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, but you've got a job just like anybody else does. So to take the time to spend 15, 20 minutes with us at Tops, I appreciate you putting us in your schedule.
No, glad to be on here. And it's not, some people are fortunate to be able to just race for a living, but, obviously, a lot of us have to work every day. So fortunate for Ray Evernham for allowing me to, do the racing stuff and kind of take time in between to do stuff like this. And, first off, I want to congratulate Matt. Matt Hirschman had that's a heck of a win. And it's, I can't really think of anybody more deserving for that opportunity with SRX. Matt's been, some people have, certain years of their career that they win a few races, but I've raced with Matt, not often, but probably for the last 10 years, and he wins a lot of races. So to see him be able to, have that opportunity with SRX, it's pretty cool. So very deserving on his part.
But let's talk about you. Big win. Has it settled in that you won the Hayes Jewelers of Lexington 200 at Bowman Gray Saturday night? I mean, what was the reality like coming around those final laps of that race?
It took till about 5 to go when I kind of figured, I'm like, wow, I'm really going to win this race. That's been kind of, along the lines of the Turkey Derby back home at Wall Stadium. It's one of those races that I run well in, but just can't seem to be able to put it all together. We finished second last year, finished second, I think, 2 other times at that race. And, it just seems like not bad luck, just, it just doesn't work out. And, we put that car together with Scott Brannick from North American Construction over the wintertime, and we shook it down at South Boston with the Smart Tour a couple weeks ago, and showed a lot of speed. And, the only thing really on my bucket list for Bowman Gray this year was to go over there and win that race. It's one that's eluded me for a while. And like I said in my other interviews, I've won the 199 over there a couple times. I've won the 150 lap the last race of the year over there. I've won the 100 lappers, the 50 lappers, the 25 lappers, the championship, and that was the only one on the list that I have not won over there. So definitely was my goal. And I never thought I'd go over there and be as dominant as we were. Like, we were just hooked up from the time we got there. We messed up a little bit in qualifying. We qualified third, but once they dropped the green, I took the lead on lap 6, and it's kind of my own pace. I could run it as hard as I wanted to, and the thing just never quit. So, just one of those days that everything went well, and it is definitely nice to finally check that one off my list. And that's the nicest trophy you can get over there. So to have that in the collection, it's definitely pretty special.
I saw the highlights on Flow Racing. Obviously, I had other obligations on Saturday night, but I did get the chance to go back and watch the highlights on Flow Racing, and the emotions were there. when Randy Pettit was down there hyping you up with the crowd and you're hearing a 20,000, close to 15, 20,000 fans cheering you on. And I think you made some new fans, and I think definitely you made some tears fall for sure. I mean, I think you were definitely emotional. I tell people this, I think sometimes you can bring me back beside with him, Dana, Charles. I've been trying to tell you that you have those moments where I got you. You can have moments on the racetrack and in racing history, racing wherever you go, where a win is just a win. And I think that, a win is great. But sometimes once you get into that winning momentum of just winning, I honestly think, Danny, that sometimes, and it could be said about a team, it could be said about a driver, sometimes you just lose that sight of what you're running towards. And I think that when you win these big prestigious races, it puts back into motion, this is why I do what I do. Would you say that you agree with that, Danny?
No, 100%. I found myself, last year doing, we go race, but it's so repetitious that you don't really focus on, the race you're going to. It's kind of just going through the motions. And that's one of the things this year that I'm going to kind of work toward doing is not race quite as much, but when I do go race the ones, the bigger races, race and focus on that race a little bit more. And I think I'm going to run probably 6 more races with that car this year. We're going to do Wall Stadium Tour race, which is obviously would be special for me to win that one. That's where I started my
Heck yeah,
racing
that would
career.
be.
Martinsville is where I started my NASCAR truck career, so we're going to go hit that one with the NASCAR Tour. And then there's a few over at Bowman Gray, a couple 100-lappers that I want to go try to do. And it's special in a lot of ways. Like Bowman Gray has really been really big for me with my career, kind of put me on the map, and this has gotten me the opportunities that I've had. And then on top of that, that is actually the first time I ever won for Scott Brannick. And I've drove his cars here and there for, I guess, the last 7 years. And if you look at my car that I ran last year, the 65, it has North American construction on it. Scott's been a huge supporter of mine throughout the years. And I know you were at Franklin County when we won a couple years ago, but
Yes.
he has supported me for a long time, and we've won races, but I never won in his car. So finally to win in his car, and he wasn't able to make it down, but I saw pictures of him standing in front of his TV with my T-shirt on, cheering us on. That is one of the cool things about having Flow Racing involved. I've heard from people all over the country with this win. It's gotten a lot of attention, and we got to thank Flow Racing and Bowman Gray for putting that, giving us that opportunity to have the Flow Racing over there. And definitely it's more of a relief type thing. Like Matt said, you try and try and try. I think I've ran that race 9 or 10 times, and the first time I ever ran it, when I went over there in 2011, I remember getting lapped twice. So to finally, that was my first trip to Bowman Gray. But to go there and just dominate it, it's definitely a relief, and really excited about it.
We got a few more minutes with Danny Bone. I'm telling you, man, we're either going to have to cut down to like 4 guests or show instead of 7, but I want to try to give as many winners over the weekend they're due, or somehow, some way, because we literally are coming up on, of course, the next guest in the box, and that's going to be, of course, Adam Yarborough, winner of the Carolina Clash on dirt at Travelers Rest, South Carolina. Michael Rouse, Wesley Hawkins, all on the way. His finish line is already in hour number 2, normally on Wednesday. But, of course, everybody was able to step up and join us. Of course, in Road Atlanta right now is Danny Bone. Danny, let's talk NASCAR. Let's talk the Camping World Truck Series. You had the opportunity to run Daytona. You looked like you was doing really, really good in that race. North American Motor Car was a big, big help in putting you down there. Is the plan to run some more truck races this year, or are you going to try to – is that what's kind of keeping you away from trying to run that modified car a lot, or are we going to see you run more truck races this season?
Well, I mean, originally that was my plan, was to try to do, the whole season, or just do as many as we can. But, it's tough. It's a lot of money. It's sponsor based. And I I know you've been on this show for the last hour, but we just announced my next truck start about an hour ago. I'm going to run Darlington next Friday night.
Ah, yeah.
With
Sorry, I didn't see it.
no, I'm sure you didn't see it because you've been on the show, but they just announced it at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to run the 20 truck for Young's Motorsports with ticksuck.org on the truck. The
Wait
month
a
of May
minute.
is Lime.
What did you say it was? Ticks suck?
Ticksuck.org. Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
the
do
month of May
these.
is Lyme. The month of May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month, and I never really went public about it, but I suffer from chronic Lyme disease. I've suffered, I've had it my whole life, and this one here, it's a little bit different, but it's special to me because it's something that I can relate to, and not no better way than to get it out there than to have it on the truck. And like I said, with it being Lyme Disease Awareness Month in May, we're doing a Darrell Waltrip Mountain Dew throwback. So when you get off the show here, you'll be able to check all that out. So super excited to be back at Young's Motorsports in the 20 truck. And, we finished, like you said, North American Motor Car has been a huge supporter of mine. We did Daytona. I finished 8th there. So the goal is to go down there. And if, hopefully have a good run. I'm looking to, my goal is to try to finish in the top 10 every truck start I do this year. So we're 1 for 1, and there you go. Well, that's the country time one from last year.
Ah, I suck. Sorry. Sorry. I'm trying to find it. Hang on, I'm trying to find it here. There it is. Oh my God, that damn thing looks awesome. Wow. Look at this, everybody. Of course, the damn green screen's going to cover up the green, but is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry about the green there, but that's what it looks
like,
like, though. That's awesome, Danny.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So, it should be a good day. Darlington's a track I've been to a couple times. We've had some decent runs there. I don't think I've ever finished outside the top 20. It's a track that you can kind of, driver play is a factor at it. So, I think we'll have a good truck, and if I get up on the wheel like I did the other night, we should have a good run.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, keep an eye on that. The course, the NASCAR the ARCA Menard Series and the NASCAR Xfinity and the Cup Series are at Dover Motor Speedway this weekend. But, of course, next weekend it is throwback. We'll probably have my friend Danny Lockamy from Darlington Raceway on Finish Line to probably preview all of that coming up. Of course, anybody that knows Danny Lockamy knows that me and him have been longtime friends, and he is a cut-up. He's a longtime veteran announcer at Darlington Raceway. And of course, it's just so cool to, and I've said this, and I think I've said so many people say this as well, Danny, and you were down in Daytona at Speed Weeks, and we're seeing it racetracks. And listen, I know that there are some racetracks that are hurting with car count. They're hurting with fan attendance. And all I can say in regards to that is go out and support your racetracks. Because if you don't, you're not going to have them anymore. Eventually, they're going to start to fade away, and there's going to be nobody to blame but the race fan and the drivers themselves that do not support these racetracks. Somehow, some way, promoters at racetracks, you got to get the big head out of yourselves, and you got to find a way to work with the promoter that you might not care for. You got to try to find a way to put your differences aside and work with each other and quit trying to cut each other's throats. And I'm not trying to go into detail, but a prime example is, for instance, this upcoming weekend. You got last Saturday, the Cars Tour at Carter at Goodyear All-American. Great race, exciting show. Connor Hall won. We wanted to have him on, but his work schedule would not allow him to be here. They take off. This upcoming weekend, you've got two racetracks within 30 minutes of each other, Danny, and they're both doing big shows to compete against one another. And you've got an entire schedule. Somehow, some way, especially with the times that we're in now, you got to find a way to work together. You got to do like what the Smart Modified Tour is doing with Bowman Gray Stadium and vice versa. They're not trying to compete against each other. They're trying to work together. This ego of I'm going to have more fans and sell more hot dogs than you or popcorn, Charles, has got to go out the window here.
No, I agree. I think if any promoter needs some advice, the one I'd be calling is Greg Garrison. There was 17,000 people there the other night, and it was 8 o'clock, and you still couldn't drive down the highway in front of the track, and there was still a line out the door to get into place. So he's got it figured out. He does a really good job, and it would be it wouldn't make any sense to try to compete against that place with the amount of attention they get, and then the drivers that support that place.
Danny, I got one more question for you, and we got to get Adam Yarborough on the program here coming up. My final question is the track. There were so many people talking about the track conditions because of the repave at Bowman Gray Stadium. As you being the winner of the Hayes Jewelers 200, the spokesperson here on Finish Line, what's your take of the racetrack? Do you think they need to work on the turtles? Do you think they need to maybe grind the pavement up a little bit to fix it? Or are you happy with the track the way it was? Do we need to come up with another tire that's abrasive to the new pavement? Your take on it?
I'll be honest with you. Aside from the outside not having any rubber on it because it's fresh, obviously, I didn't struggle with it. The turtles, I ran over them quite a few times. Didn't upset the car. There was not a lot of grip on the outside, but that's going to come in as they run on it. There was a little bump into one, which, is just uneven pavement. I think, I think that's something we can live with. Overall, I didn't really change my car at all. It's exactly how it would have went, any other time. So I think it's going to take a couple weeks for it to kind of come in and work the outside in. But after that, I feel like you're going to have some really good racing. Tire wear is not an issue. So, as you watch the replay, I didn't save tires. I ran hard for 175 laps, and I could still go probably run another 30, 40 on that set of tires that was on there. So I think it's once the track gets some rubber into it, and you're going to have some really good fast racing over there.
For sure, definitely. Well, listen, buddy, we got to let you go. I know you got a crazy schedule. Thanks again for, of course, everybody letting you step away at Road Atlanta to join us. Danny, congratulations on the announcement with Young Motorsports at Darlington, and much success. Where are you racing this weekend? Are you off this weekend? And in segue, thank your sponsors.
I'm actually going to take off this week, and I'm going to be down here till Sunday, and then it'll be focused on Darlington. It's like I said, it's not often that you get opportunities like I've got this coming or next week. So I'm going to run on the simulator and try to prepare myself as much as I can for next Friday night, and then after next weekend, we'll pick another big race at Bowman Gray and go over there and try to make it 2 for 2. But just like I said, I got to thank Ray for allowing me to bounce around my schedule, all my supporters, all my fans, Scott Brannick, most recently with that owns the 51 car, Bilstein Shocks, PME Engines, Valvoline, Racing Electronics, and most recently ticksuck.org for the opportunity next weekend, Young's Motorsports for Darlington. And like I said, man, there's been so many people that's helped me, and so many owners that have allowed me to drive their cars, and sponsors that have, bought me a tire, and it's just been a really unbelievable ride. So extremely excited for next weekend, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Always, man, always. Safe travels at Darlington and at Road Atlanta. We appreciate you as always being on Finish Line. Congratulations on winning the Hayes Jewelers 200 at Bowman Gray.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. We'll catch you next time I win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Danny Bone, ladies and gentlemen, winner at Bowman Gray Stadium of the Hayes Jewelers 200. That is the biggest modified race in the South, probably, as I said, for modifieds at Bowman Gray Stadium. And he, of course, joins us here on Finish Line. And now we go from Danny Bone in Georgia to somewhere in North Carolina, Denver, North Carolina. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Adam, are you proud of me, dude? I kind of got something going on like you got, except it's not red.
Looking good.
It is looking good. Welcome to Finish Line, ladies and gentlemen. The Denver Dirt Slinger, Adam Yarborough, joins us. Adam, are you in your race hauler?
Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to go to Elkin. We're going to do some testing in my new car. So I'm getting ready to leave here in just a little bit.
Hey, listen, thanks for taking the time to join us here on Finish Line, man. How special was it 96 hours to go to finally say you are a winner on the Super Late Model Tour for Carolina Clash, but also just in regional racing?
I mean, it was awesome just for me and my dad. Just me and Dad went, and it was just awesome, Wesley.
It was a special moment, dude. I'll be honest with you. I was at County Line Raceway with the Ultimate Super Late Model Series. Matter of fact, Michael Rouse is coming to join us next. And when I saw the post and
I think it was who was it that texted me? Somebody texted me and they said, "Man, can you believe Adam Yarborough won?" And I was like,
I think a lot of people
"Really?"
said that.
And I thought it was just. I honestly, Adam, and I'll be honest, Adam, I thought it was just like a local late model race, you know. And when I seen that, holy cow, it's with the Carolina Clash Super Late Model Series, and you know, regardless of the trials and tribulations of what you've gone through in the past, that was such a special moment for you. And I know the emotion settled in. I saw you climb out of the car, and you were filled with tears. I know your dad was. Mark Huey even let you stop and embrace your father before he actually done the PR and the media interviews. It was just what a moment. What a moment that was for you, man.
It's a long time coming. You know, it was you know, I didn't know what to say, and I still don't know what to say about it. But hopefully I can just keep it going and just try to make the best of it, Wesley.
How was the car? Because obviously, anybody that knows Travelers Rest Speedway, that's a finicky racetrack. I mean, it's a very unique, abnormal type dirt track. The dirt itself, the configuration of the track itself, it looked like from the stats and information on Race Monitor, looking back to prepare for my interview with you, Adam, the car just was flawless the entire night as soon as it unloaded from the trailer.
It was, you know, and the late models hadn't been there, and I think 12 years or something. The supers hadn't been there, and I hadn't raced there since probably 2007 in a Monte Carlo, and but it just fit me good. The car was good. I mean, I run hard every lap. You know, Ross and Kenny got by me. I had a blast racing with Kenny this weekend at Livonia Friday night and Travelers Rest Saturday, but it was just as good on lap 40 as it was lap 3.
Adam Yarborough again joining us here on Finish Line. Coming up, he will have Michael Rouse joining us here in a few more minutes, and then I'll close it out the program with Mr. Wesley Hawkins. It's amazing how fast this show goes by. And by the way, thank you to not only our viewers and listeners that are tuning in, but thanks to our guest panel for having to reschedule with us after the technical difficulties for server satellite problems we had yesterday here. Adam, man, obviously, the win, you can bring me back with him, Charles. The win here this past weekend at the Travelers Rest Speedway has got to get you pumped up and excited and hyped to feel, man, I can go out here and I could run with Kenny Collins and I can run with Zach Mitchell and I can run with these guys. Confidence is a big thing, especially once you get that first win under your belt. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, confidence is a big thing, and I think I finally, you know, I didn't know what a winning race car was supposed to feel like. Well, now I do. So I'm gonna move it on to my new car that I haven't even run yet. So hopefully I can get to feel in that car, and I'll have some confidence in it, and I'll have 2 good cars because I think I got the points lead for the Clash. It'd be awesome for me to win the points at the Clash.
It's
So
yeah, for sure.
if I can do that, that'd be the best thing ever happened to me.
Adam, where do you feel the car? Well, okay, let me segue this. What made you decide to get into super late model racing? Because obviously we're in a crazy time in our country with the parts and the engines and the tire shortages and everything just in life in general going up. What made the decision for the Yarborough Racing team to go into super late model racing? And what's the plans for 2022? And obviously you just told me right there you're planning to try to run for the Carolina Clash Crown.
Yeah, well, you know, I run crate late model for a long time, and was pretty successful with that down at Gaffney a lot. And my dad wanted me to run super. He wanted, you know, you can't. To me, dirt super late model racing is higher than NASCAR. You know, I mean, there's no more. I can't go any further than what I'm doing right now. You know, unless I run like a national series. But I don't really care to do that.
Sure.
To be honest with you, if I can run good and for the Clash or decide to run some ultimate races or, you know, anything. It's just, I mean, my plans are to Clash this year 100%. But the reason I'm in super late model racing is mainly because of my dad.
And can you elaborate more on that? Why is it so? Basically, your dad was just basically giving you the
Oh yeah, he was like enough.
kick in the
He was
ass,
like enough.
pretty much to say,
Yeah, he
"Hey,
was like
man, get
enough.
out of a crate car, get into supers."
Yeah, he was like enough of this shit. We got to go super racing. Straight late model stuff is not going getting us any further. And I guess he thought I could handle it. And I think this is my third year running supers, and I mean, he was just I guess we both were, kind of fed up with the crate racing and the crate motors and just not being able to travel around. I guess you could back then, but the thing with super racing is what I like about it is you race somewhere different every week.
Sure,
And like
sure.
Travelers Rest, I mean, I never in my life thought I'd win a race at Travelers Rest Speedway, you know. And I mean, if it wasn't for me running supers, I probably would never been there. And like going to Bristol, if I was in a crate car, yeah, I probably could have. I probably wouldn't have went to Bristol in a crate car, but with the supercar, you can just go and have a chance at having a chance at making some decent money if you do good and you don't tear nothing up. And it's and the money thing, it ain't nothing about the money, but it's just we got a little automotive shop here in Denver, and it's me and Dad and my mom work it, and it pays me and it pays for racing. My mom and Dad don't they done work there, they're done working, so they help me, and
Yeah.
our little shop puts my racing, and we don't have no extravagant two car hauler. This is just a 40-foot trailer, and so I mean, super racing's what it's all about, Wesley.
So suffice to say, you're content where you're at in your career. Honestly, let's just be base here. You're not trying to climb to the Outlaws or Lucas Oil. If the opportunity presents itself, yes. If they're in town, you might come after them. Look out, Denver Dirt Slingers coming for you. But basically, you just enjoy it because you love it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's something. What I'm doing here is like last weekend. It was just me and my dad. I don't have anybody else to go with me. It was just me and Dad. And when I lose that, when I have to make it like a job, then it ain't gonna be good. So, no,
Yeah.
this is I never thought I'd make it this far. So, yeah, I'm perfectly content at what I'm doing.
All right, we got a question about popcorn. Maybe something else. My producer in Texas, Charles Wooteney's there with you now.
There's always a question about popcorn. We got to ask it. We've asked everybody so far. If you eat popcorn, do you prefer bagged popcorn out of the microwave, or would you prefer the movie style where it's fresh popped in a machine and you can salt and butter it the way you like?
I have no idea where the hell this question came through today. Any popcorn? You're good. So you're like Charles.
Yeah, I mean, popcorn's popcorn.
I'm sorry. Adam, we've known each other a long time, but I got to disagree with you on that because I've ate some nasty ass popcorn out of a microwave before in my life, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, well, listen, I know you're on the way to Friendship Motor Speedway, Elkin, North Carolina. I know they got new promoters. That's doing really, really well. But where are we going to see you next? Are you planning to attempt to run the Carolina Clash schedule now? And do you feel like your team, two-man operation, father and son, Adam and Danny, y'all can win the championship this year?
Yeah, and my next race is May the 28th. It's at Lakeview Speedway down in Nichols, South Carolina. So that's going to be it.
Yes.
And then I think I can't remember what the race is after that, but that's my next scheduled race will be May 28th at Lakeview.
There you go. Good deal. Good deal. And the confidence factor, do you feel like you could win the championship with your father-son team?
I mean, I think so. As long as I don't have any trouble, I think me and Daddy can handle it. I think me and Daddy can handle about anything.
Do we got Michael Rouse in the box, Charles? Do we have Michael?
What is it, Wesley? I can't hear you.
What'd you say, Adam?
I can't hear you.
No, I was asking my producer if we have Michael Rouse as our next guest. He's the winner of the Ultimate Series. We've got to get him queued up, Sarah. But okay, we'll go ahead and text him and let him know that he's up. So, Adam, Adam, but while we are working on getting our next guest lined up, because sometimes these guys, like we said, they're working jobs, they're working full-time jobs, and sometimes a little friendly reminder will help them for sure. How you just let everybody know on Finish Line how you got your career started. I mean, yeah, basically humble beginnings for Adam Yarborough and the Racing Family Stables.
I mean, I started racing just because Dad did, and he built me a Pinto when I was 15, and I started running 4-cylinder cars. And after about a couple of years of that, I mean, it moved up to super stock, got a couple of them, and then we went we went, crate racing. And I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. My brother's big into horses. My mom and brother was big into horses, and Daddy always raced. So I always, when I turned 14 years old, I was like, yeah, I ain't much on horses. I like to race cars. So that was, and that's the rest is history.
Hey, listen, you kind of opened the door, so I'm just going to kick the damn thing down. What's your take of crate racing and where we're at right now as we move into 2022 and after past COVID?
Well, I mean, my take on crate racing, I don't even keep up with it. But crate racing is, I guess it's a good beginner's thing. It's pretty good, but I mean, they spend a lot of money, and don't get me started on tires. Tires are what really get me revved up.
Well,
Tires, the
tires
cost
and
of tires,
engines.
huh?
Yeah, tires and engines. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but the tires have went up. I mean, over $100 a piece just the tires. I used to could buy tires $100 cheaper with the COVID or whatever I call it the election infection. And it's crazy how much stuff's gone up.
Oh, he tells it like it is, doesn't he, Charles? Charles is chuckling in the background. Go ahead, Charles. I know you want to chime in.
I do. I think we need to copyright that saying. That was the best thing I've heard all day. That just made my day. I can go back to bed now.
That's right.
Hashtag election infection. Yes.
That's right.
Wow. Well, listen, I will say this, Adam, for sure. I mean, I know that the tire situation's definitely gone crazy, and they're just opening up the prices more. I feel like the crate manufacturers have got to some way get with these tire manufacturers and find a way to either run another tire, come up with another tire, and that's what gets me about so many people. We live in a world today now, Adam, where people get so butthurt and they get so mad if you try to tell somebody the truth. Or if you try to say what you think about something, they get offended. But the fact of the matter is we might need to friggin' get offended in the motorsports industry to wake some damn people up, because we've got to find a way to fix this. Because if we don't, we're all going to go under. I mean, I say this to people off the record all the time. If racing and promoters and sanctioning bodies and manufacturers of race parts do not get their head out of their ass and find a way to work with one another, they're going to end this industry. It's going to happen.
It's getting tougher. No doubt it's getting a lot tougher.
It certainly is. They've got to find a way to work with each other. I've seen so many promoters try to cut each other's throats. They don't want to work with each other. They want to run events on top of one another. Listen, I can understand if you got a race in South Carolina and there's a race going on in Virginia, they're two different sanctioning bodies. But if you have a race going on and you're doing the exact same thing at another racetrack with the equivalent of 25, 30 miles from that place, you guys have got an issue. It's already bad enough of a state that we're in. And of course, what you said about crate racing, and as a longtime voice of Fast Track in crate racing, the premier pro late model series, Adam, that's how we've known each other. It's crazy. It's really outlandish, and I'm an Outland. My last name is Outland, and I say it's outlandish that things have become the way they've become. And honestly, Adam, by the way, I think you have a pretty ear. Honestly, I think
I can't hear shit.
I got you. You can't hear shit. I honestly think, Adam, it is because of greed. and nobody wanting to back down, and they're trying to keep that their business, their name on top of somebody else's to belittle them.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, listen, Adam, we're going to let you go so you can head on down to Elkin, man. Have a safe test.
Hey,
Congratulations on your
listen, I
big
appreciate you
win,
having
my
me here.
friend. Yes, sir, definitely.
I
Before I let
appreciate
you go, thank your sponsors. Thank your sponsors, Adam.
it. Thanks.
Thank your sponsors. Adam, where'd you go? Adam, he ready to go to that racetrack and test that late model car, okay? Michael Rouse, you're late. I got you. Let's see here. What am I looking for? What you done got me off the rails. Facebook. There we go. Facebook. No, that's not it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Judy Yarborough Realty, Yarborough Automotive. It's about all the sponsors I can think of. Longhorn Chassis. FK Roddings, Bill Stein Shocks on the number 57 of Denver, North Carolina's Denver Dirt Slinger. The Denver Dirt Slinger, Adam Yarborough. There's his car right there. Ain't that a nice looking car, Charles? Look at that car. From. Shut up! In the green screen. So, all right. Well, listen, I guess Michael Rouse is a no-show. I mean, hey, listen, as I said, we had to reschedule with some guests. But hey, maybe we can get off at on a decent hour. We'll get him on a lot quicker than we had planned. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Wesley Hawkins is our final guest on Finish Line. He was scheduled for 2:50 Eastern Time, but we're going to go ahead and bring him in early. Any day now. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Mr. Wesley Hawkins joining us here. Wesley, welcome to Finish Line. Hey, can you do me a favor? Take your phone and turn it like this. There you go. And you see, it makes you bigger. Well, listen, thanks for taking the time to join us on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, Wesley Hawkins, longtime racer, late model competitor, dirt, pavement. He's won many races. I think he's told me he's had over 200 wins in races of late models, four cylinders, you name it, dirt and pavement. He runs now currently in the late model division at Caraway Speedway, and he has been a big part of the racing industry. In addition to that, he's battled cancer. He's fought the battle, won over cancer, and even though cancer's come back again, he's still trying so hard to beat it this time. And amongst the lay, he's also done things with Ed Heinz and helping Sam Bass, one of the great NASCAR illustrationists that passed away with cancer, kidney cancer, not so 4 or 5 years ago, I think it seems. Wesley, you just love racing, man. Just tell everybody your story.
I'm just eat up with it. Remember as a kid sitting there on Sunday afternoon, especially the Daytona 1979 Daytona 500. And it put NASCAR really out there. But yeah, as a kid, I was going to Columbia Speedway at 4.5 months old. The old Columbia Speedway in Casey.
Sure.
But
that
it's
track's
always
just a
been my
memory
dream.
now.
Yeah. No, actually they restored it. They cleaned it up. It's a park now. But it's always been my dream to do this for a living, but unfortunately, that dream didn't come true. So I'll take what I get and run with it.
Well, listen, amongst your racing credentials, you've also done a lot of things to help a lot of people. I think of what you did for Sam Bass, Ed Heinz, and so many others. You've mingled with some of the top executives and big dogs of the NASCAR world to grassroots. Is there certain stories, certain memories that you have that you'll always have enriched in your brain until the day that you leave this earth that you'll always treasure?
I think the biggest one I have that I'll never let go of is meeting face to face with Bobby Allison at Ralph Shaheen's studio when we unveiled the car. And then he's going to write on the top of my name on the driver's door, Bobby Allison co-pilot. But that right there is a forever lasting memory, because I always wanted to grow up to be like those guys.
You know, one of the things that you definitely helped out with was Sam Bass. You know, if in Charles, if you want to bring me back, you can here alongside with Mr. Wesley Hawkins from one Wesley to another. One of the things that I remember, of course, and we talked about this Monday when I was at your race shop. I remember Sam Bass and what he did not only at Charlotte, Bristol, Atlanta for SMI. He always done the front of the programs, the NASCAR programs. And I think me and you hinted on it just a little bit of just what an amazing talent he was with his hands as an illustrationist, as being able to create racing images, racing history, and put it into colors and cartoon, if you would, and paintings and writings and the things that he did. And you know, so many people might have seen or they noticed the graphics but they didn't know the man. And you had the chance, Wesley, to not only know the man, but help the man. Talk to us on Finish Line about some of the great stories of Sam Bass and what he did in NASCAR, and, of course, what led to you and Ed Heinz and so many people coming together to try to help him get this. Obviously, he passed away. You know, he couldn't get a kidney, but I know there was great efforts that was made. Just what are some of the memories you have of helping Sam Bass?
Well, just the first initial time of communicating with him, I showed him a picture of the car. I said, "This is your car. You tell me how you want it, and that's the way it'll be." And next thing you know, Sam wants a Carolina blue. So we take a black car and paint it blue. Then he designs all his logos. And a friend of mine, Brandon Cox with Inline Designs, laid all of it out on computer, and we sent it to Sam. And Sam would edit it and say, "Well, we need to do this, make this brush stroke a little bigger, you know, add fluorescent red right here, put the number back here." It was amazing.
And of course, and raise money. And you raised money. You guys raised money. You tried everything you could to help out. And of course, you know, Mr. Sam Bass did succumb to kidney failure. You know, and it was so heartbreaking because, you know, and I said this, Wesley. I think me and you said it on Monday when we were spending time together at your race shop there at just outside of Raleigh and Clayton, North Carolina, and I say it to so many people now. Man, COVID has took so many people. I've so many people that I've come to know. Last week, I know I said on Finish Line, I lost my friend Paul Rondell. By the way, USCS sprint cars. I talked to Jim O'Shields earlier today. They're in action at I-75 Raceway in Sweetwater, Tennessee, this upcoming weekend. But you know, back to a segue to that. I mean, it's a shame that COVID and past COVID has now took so many great people in this racing industry for sure. But let's go now to your racing, your running, your racing, your background, your career. Cars Tour, when it first came out, you ran the late model stock. You ran in Southeast Limiteds. I see you're sporting the Ed Cox apparel now. Shout out to Ed and Kelly Cox. That series is now defunct, if you will. It's now, you know, it's not even around anymore. But
no, it was a really good series. I know you've been at Myrtle Beach when we had 43 cars start the race.
We certainly did. I'll remember. I'll take you all the way back to the first damn race they ever had, July 4th. of 2000. I want to say it was 2012 or 13 when it was held at Florence Motor Speedway when Charlie Powell, God rest his soul, had that race, and we raced on a Sunday afternoon, July 4th. And it was like 115 degrees outside, maybe 130 heat index. And Ryan Glinsky won a 100-lapper that seemed like it took 4 hours to run.
Yeah. Well, I know one year at Myrtle Beach, we had so many cautions, people were running out of gas. I think that was
Yeah. Oh, yes.
2015.
Yes, sir. It was. I was at that race. Yes, sir. 2015 at the Myrtle Beach 400. And that wasn't even the big race, mind you. That was the preliminary Saturday before the Myrtle Beach 400 on Sunday.
You know, I sure missed that series because it had a really good set of rules.
Yeah.
And, you go spin an arm and a leg to be competitive.
Definitely. Well, Wesley, now you compete in the late models, man, at Caraway Speedway. What made the decision with you and your team? I think you said they're based out of Conover or down near the Charlotte area, Taylorsville. What made the decision to get that late model program together? And what's it like with you being in the Clayton, Raleigh area, the cars in Taylorsville, and somehow or another, every race you try to come together and run and race the car?
Well, Caraway's like the middle meeting point for us, about halfway.
Gotcha.
So, but when I got to go up there, it's got to be weighed out. I got to do what I got to do. And of course, I love driving, but I really love turning left. But you do what you got to do, and it all pays for itself at the end of the day. But
our producer in Texas, Charles, has a question for you. And if it's something about popcorn, I'm going to the damn airport. I'm flying to Dallas to come get him. Go ahead, Charles.
I'm with you on that, Wesley.
No, actually, it doesn't have anything to do with popcorn. I'm curious because of, the weather here it's fairly decent. I'm curious what the weather is like there. It sounds really nice because I hear birds chirping in the background. So I'm wondering if it's a nice sunny day out there where he's at.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice sunny day. Little airish, but it's nice and sun's got a little breeze going.
It's sunny and 66 degrees. If I have to elaborate in it just jumped up to 67 degrees. If I can elaborate with Wesley Hawkins, because honestly, Wesley Charles lives like 10 miles from me. We literally could actually have set up and done Finish Line if we were going to do the whole show. We could have done a show at Finish Line at his race shop. He's like 10 miles from my house for sure. And by the way, Wesley, car's doing great so far. I don't think the AC's ran out just yet.
Yeah. Not spitting ice cubes yet, is it?
It's not yet. I will tell you this. The other day, it got so damn cold driving down the road, I had to put it on 1, so that's a good thing for sure. Also, by the way, Wesley, a long time, in addition to racer, also does automotive repair on the side as well. Wesley, Caraway Speedway, what other racetracks, what other backgrounds do you have in your career where you've raced at and done successful with?
Beach, Florence, Somerville, Columbia Speedway, Thunder Valley Speedway, Modoc, Fayetteville, Dublin. Good Lord. Southern National, Carteret County. I've gone to all these tracks, and I'm probably missed a Concord, another good track gone. Hickory. But that's about the ones I've been around. Oh, I did go to one years ago out in the middle of nowhere.
You went out somewhere out in the middle of nowhere? Did you race in the cornfield, you said? Where'd you go?
You had to go through about 30 miles of cornfield to get to the racetrack. In Buffalo, South Carolina.
Buffalo, South Carolina?
It's in the upper state of South Carolina. It's called Buffalo Speedway.
Yeah, that must have been way before my time. I've never even heard of that track before. That's a first.
Yeah, it was just a soup bowl out in the middle of the woods.
A
And I think
Super
it took us
Bowl out in the middle of the woods.
middle of the woods. And I think it took us 2.5 hours to take the wrong dirt road, and you end up in the wrong area and got to turn around. I don't know how in the
Listen,
world my buddy found us.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
was going to
how.
say that, man.
I told
It,
him, I said, friends like you, I don't need any enemies.
Friends like you, I don't need it. Yeah, because that's the kind of person that just put you out somewhere and leave you if you're dead. Especially if he knows
Yeah, I mean,
there's a racetrack out in the cornfields 30 miles away.
I mean, this is the deal. We get there, it's daylight, and then when we leave, it's 10:30. And this is when I lived in Columbia, South Carolina. We didn't get home till the sun was coming up. We didn't have all that fancy navigation stuff. But
Well, I
never
tell you what,
again
man,
will I
you've
go
got
to him.
a lot of stories. You've got a lot of stories. I know we talked and hinted on it a little bit. Hey, by the way, Wesley, 2 days later, Ed Hines did call me back. Ed did call me back the other day. Yes, Ed Hines is such a great guy, and I'm working with him to try to get something together for Motorfest. It sounded like they're bringing back Motorfest 2022, and it's going to be at Charlotte Motor Speedway at the Morrison Motor Car Museum coming up in May. And of course, as I told you before COVID hit for 2 years, I did the MC work. I did all the public address and opening ceremonies and acknowledging the military and the playing the taps and talking to the legends, the stars of racing. Wesley, you mentioned Bobby. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned about the stars of racing. When I did this thing for Sam Bass, I wasn't looking for none of this stuff. I was looking to help another human being.
Right.
Showing that humanity is still alive.
Certainly.
But somehow or another, Ed Hines arranged for me to be at the Stocks for Tots autograph signing. He couldn't make it that night because of some reason, but I pull up there where they have it at the NASCAR Tech in Mooresville, unload the car, put it out on display, and next thing I know, they having me sit beside Bobby and Donnie Allison, Randy LaJoy. I looked at Bobby, I said, I don't belong here. I need to be on the other side getting your autograph. So what's he do? Him and Donnie get autograph cards and sign them and give them to me. But it was just a real honor,
Yeah, I'm looking at. I'm trying to pull up some of the pictures here, and a matter of fact, this is one of the pictures right there with that Sam Bass car that we were talking about here on Finish Line, and that's him with Mr. Bobby Allison right there, one of the greats of NASCAR, Bobby Allison. And there's that car, the Sam Bass Find a Kidney car. There's another shot of the car with, of course, Wesley Hawkins there, and
was that in front of like the gas pumps?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Yep.
All right, that was Bill Francis' original gas station in Daytona, behind the.
That's awesome.
What was the motel? Famous
That's a good
motel?
picture right there. Yes, the Skyline Hotel.
Amazing, that's in front of the North Turn restaurant at the original racetrack, where it was half on asphalt and half on dirt.
Yes, sir. I've been to that road before, and just looking at some of the and listen. Go ahead.
But my picture of the cars hanging in the restaurant to this day. But what was really amazing, me and Ed come rolling into Daytona that evening, go past the speedway, and I look up, and there's my car on a billboard. I'm like, Ed, hit me.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty cool.
But I mean, I wasn't looking, for all that, but I was looking to get the message out. Because I figured more people would be apt to donate a kidney, be a living kidney donor at a Saturday night short track race.
And listen, I just want to go, Wesley, I just want to elaborate more on this, buddy. I'm sorry for cutting you off. But this is the history of where racing started. You're looking at some of the pictures that Mr. Wesley texted me, and these are the jalopies and the coupe cars from back in the day. And listen, and look at this, okay? This is from a newspaper article. that this man Wesley Hawkins cherishes that he sent me. This is honestly, back in the day, Wesley, this is how you kept up with racing news. Back then, you didn't have the social media or the live streaming capabilities or the broadcasts or the things that went on. You had Speed Sport and maybe the newspaper, and you had to wait to find out a couple of days later what your race results were. And that's where we've evolved to. You had to wait for the newspaper articles. You had drivers back in the day that were just hoping and praying that they could get on the newspapers. And it's just amazing now, taking a trip down memory lane, if you will, Wesley, with the pictures that you've texted me to show where we are and where we come from.
That is the man that was at my car at Caraway Saturday night. And he told me, he said, when it becomes unfun, it's time to quit. But, you know, he's just really a really great man.
Right.
He's very, very, very smart on a race car. But,
well,
you know,
it sounds like it's not... It's we got a bad delay, and I apologize for that. It's causing us to talk over on top of each other. But what I would say is definitely he must still have a love for the sport because he's still at the racetracks for these number of decades for sure. Right there with you, Wesley.
Oh yes. I mean, look, he remember Mike Swain Jr. and Travis Swain?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
He worked with him. He was the crew chief. He kept the cars. All three of them were champions. Travis was a late model stock champion for 2 years, I know. And then his dad, Mike, wasn't he Goody's Dash?
Yes.
Mike
yes, sir.
Jr.
Yep.
But that man right there, I think, if I remember right, he won 59 races in a row at Hickory over a couple year span.
Listen, we're coming up past the hour, so we do got to get ready to let you go here and close off our show. But I got one more question for you. I've seen your credentials, obviously, what you've done on dirt, 200 career wins on dirt. You were right there when Dublin Speedway reopened back up. You've done all sorts of racing, late models. You were part of the Cars Tour when it first got started. Now you're running at Caraway on the late model capacity. By the way, they got late models coming up this Saturday. $5 ladies' night in acknowledgement for all the moms out there for Mother's Day. Of course, I know Mother's Day is next Sunday, May the 8th, but they are off on May the 8th, so they would rather celebrate Mother's Day this upcoming Saturday at Caraway Speedway. All details, carawayspeedway.com. By the way, Eric Brennan, the voice of the Smart Modified Tour, is going to be filling in for my absence as I have TV obligations and announcing in this upcoming weekend at Goodyear for the Carolina Pro Late Models and Carolina Crate Modifieds and the Atlantic Turfscapes Super Truck Series. So I've got that going on, and I won't be at Caraway. But I know Wesley will, and his intentions is to run for a championship. Yeah, yes, go ahead.
By the way, I got the car loosened up a little bit. So maybe I won't be slinging the back end around coming off the turn.
Well, I mean, with the car being loosened up, I told you, I said, well, hell, it looks like you're running dirt track already, for sure. So definitely. Hey, listen, final question for you, and I was going to ask this in closing. Where do you see late model racing going now? What makes you keep doing it, Wesley, with all you've gone through? I know you're a cancer survivor, but you are battling cancer again. I didn't want to really go all into the details about that one, but you are having cancer as well again. But what is the drive? What is the motivation? I mean, I know Monday you told me stories whenever I saw you at your shop where you were eat up with cancer and chemo, and you literally still raced at Hickory. And you remember a typical story where you literally had to bring 2 or 3 driving suits because you wanted to race so bad, but literally the chemo was eating you alive and making you get sick. Yeah, it made you get sick, and you literally said, go ahead.
I think that's what kept me alive, kept me going. Because I don't know if I told you, but I lost my only child back in 2012. And he made me promise him I would not quit till I physically couldn't do it anymore. So I'm going to give Red Farmer a run for his money.
For sure. Definitely. Well, listen, our
Or
time has grown
Archie
short.
Adams.
Or Archie Adams Sr., yeah, because Archie Adams runs in the Challengers at Caraway. For sure, definitely. Yeah, definitely, man. Well, listen, cancer sucks. Keep fighting a good fight. Keep battling. And I appreciate you being on Finish Line. By the way, if anybody is interested in sponsoring this driver, knowing all his stories and his legacy and all that he's been, and just such a kind heart helping people, you can go to Wesley Hawkins on social media.
We do need a new motor. We are kind of outdated on the engine. But I'm working day and night trying to get money scrounges to get a new one. Get one, I guess, a Harrington.
Yes. Because didn't you say you got a Wellington, like a built Wellington aluminum engine from like what, 10, 15 years ago?
No, I got all cast iron motor.
Cast iron,
I'm 100
wow.
pounds heavier than any car out there on the nose.
I was going to say that. Yeah, you're 100 pounds heavier and probably less than 100 horsepower behind, basically, I would think. Something of that caliber, maybe 200 horsepower.
You know, and
you're
some
under.
of that with they getting, and some of that me getting kind of squirrely and all, I was up on the wheel and having to stay up on the wheel to stay up with them.
Yes, definitely. Well, listen, Wesley, we appreciate you being on Finish Line, buddy. We got to get ready to get off the air. Thank you so much for taking the time. Before I do let you go, thank your sponsors, thank your family, loved ones, anybody you got, and we'll see you down the road, sir.
Yep, thank you, my Uncle Ronald. He's the one that makes it happen every weekend. And United Sewing Machines, especially my wife, putting up with the long hours. And most of all, got to thank God.
Amen.
Without
Amen.
him, none of this would be possible.
Certainly, man. Well, listen, Wesley, thank you for taking the time to be with us on Finish Line, man. We'd love to have you back again sometimes. I'm sure that you can tell us so many amazing racing stories. Hell, we could probably be on the air for 2 hours and it would take the whole time up. So, hey, maybe we might do that one day. Maybe we might actually set up shop.
We'll do that.
Well,
because I got a story about
I was going to say, damn this internet. I was gonna say maybe one day we could actually get together and maybe we can put some kind of program package with me and Charles and you where we can actually set up and do Finish Line. Maybe have the race car come from Taylorsville to your shop and maybe do a Finish Line Motorsports show and maybe just talk about the history, the nostalgia of racing, the here and now of the sport and where we're at today, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, though, we were talking about Scott Autry.
Yeah, awesome one.
Yeah, I got a story to tell you next time we do this, but karma come back to get him. It wasn't nothing bad, but it's something that happened to me he laughed about. So
I got you.
And he nicknamed me Ricky Bobby after that.
He nicknamed you Ricky Bobby.
Bobby, yeah.
I got you.
I'll just put it this way. I had a ton of fire ants real quick. Had a ton of fire ants drop out of a roll bar or something, got in my fire suit and I had like 50 bites on my back. And I come in the pits and jumped out the car while I was still rolling, unzipped my fire suit, and it fell slammed to my ankles on the front straightaway.
Oh, wow. That sounds like something Scott Autry would do. Well, listen, we'll talk about it another time. Well, Wesley, buddy, we got to run, buddy. Thank you so much for being on Finish Line, and thank you for your time. I'll see you at Caraway. Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. No, not a problem, buddy. All right, Charles, you weaseled your way all day long trying to not be on camera. You better get on there for our final segment. You have to say hello to the hairy masses of people out there. No, you got to be on camera. Come on.
I have a camera? I have a camera?
Yeah, you got a camera. And I figured our final segment would be you showing your face on camera here. There he is. Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm on Walmart.com ordering groceries.
You're where?
I'm on Walmart.com ordering groceries. See, I'll let you move your. See, you can't see because it's I'm on Walmart.com ordering groceries.
I
Water.
heard that. And then they just deliver it to your front door or something or whatever?
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
you gotta have groceries, right?
Yes.
It's
Hey, listen, I know Finish Line, we had to postpone it to yesterday because, hey, Charles, real quickly, show everybody your backdrop again or your front
backdrop,
setup, obviously.
There's a
Not
backdrop.
the backdrop. Yeah, that's his office and is also where he lays down.
This backdrop, hang on. I got to scoop back. I can't. Oh, we're
Look
going
at
to end
all
up
this.
flipping crap.
Okay, so somewhere along the way, right here where I'm at, you see me waving at you people here? Something went wrong on that monitor, on that computer, on that unit. That's our vMix server unit from Texas to North Carolina. And something went awry where that couldn't work, and we had to fix it. We had to fix it, right?
Yeah.
And we got it back going again.
Yeah, we got
it
fixed.
And then we're able to put out our signal
these
on Fox Sports Radio in the Carolinas, iHeartRadio, Community Radio Network, and so much more. So, yeah, you got a lot of buttons and gadgets and whistles and buttons to push, Charles, for sure.
Yes, lots of buttons. Man,
you know what? You surprised me, though. Where the hell's your bag of popcorn? Where's it?
Hang on. We'll see. It's right there. I haven't ordered it yet. No, I haven't ordered it yet. I got to order it still. Oh, my
goodness. So is it name brand or is it like great value?
Well, I'm still working on getting the. I still have to order the actual popcorn maker at some point. So that's Jiffy Pop. That's the kind your grandma and grandpa use. They shake over the stove and it pops.
I love Jiffy Pop. Yeah. I do. I love Jiffy Pop. I do. Jiffy Pop's good. Jiffy Pop was in the Scream movie, if you remember the first Scream movie where she's making the pop.
Yeah, see? So I'm waiting for someone to come kick in my door screaming or something.
Do you like scary movies, Charles?
Yes, I do. And I'm not Wesley Hawkins, by the way, so we're going to get rid of that graphic.
I'm Wesley Outlook. And we need to have Finish Line with Wesley and Charles is what it needs to be. Yes.
Oh, wait. No, that's not the right one.
Us together. There you go. We're in this together, brother. Yeah.
I had the graphic.
Sure.
Just forgot to put it up.
All right, so Charles, what is our final bit for the day, man? And by the way, I know you'll say this as well. Thanks to all of our guests except Michael Rouse, but I'm pretty sure Rouse Racing Engines is buzzing. He's busy. Picked up the ultimate super late model win, the I-95 win. He has won $8,000 of Brenda Holcomb and James Upchurch money at County Line Raceway in the last 3 weeks. So, and again, Charles, we had technical issues. We tried to wait till the midnight hour or the old term. High noon before we pulled the plug yesterday. But, I think it was still a great show. But I'd like to go back to our Wednesday format. I like Wednesdays.
Yeah, I tend to like Wednesdays too, because it's kind of nice. We do the podcast and then I go back to bed and I'm done for the day. So, this way, I have to turn around, and do another race.
Well, that's
night.
Today we've got the show. I've got a softball broadcast to do for radio later on this afternoon, and then I come back here and I join you on for iRacing on LSRTV, and that's going to be, I believe, at are we at Kansas?
Yes, 10:15 at Kansas.
Yes.
And with any luck, we'll have lots of drivers connected to their driver cams, because lo and behold,
don't unveil all your secrets.
Yeah, we won't tell all our secrets, but there was a simple little button on our streaming software that you just saw that seems to have helped a lot of performance issues we're having. The button that says press this if you're doing 4K, although that's not what it said. It just said performance output. Had it said click this button, dummy, if you're using 4K, that would have been a lot nicer. But hey, I need the cliff notes for vMix apparently, so I can figure out this program.
Somebody moved him too far. He got the memo for sure. Hey, what do you think of our backdrop here? Look at this. Look, as I tell everybody, it's a green screen.
Mine is not a green screen. Mine is.
I unveiled myself for you.
I mean, you can't look what's up here. Let's see. We got a bunch of keyboards, water cooling for computers, monitor cases. a case of water that's sitting right there that's about to go in the fridge later. You know,
No
stay
milk?
hydrated. No, not
No
today.
milk?
No. No, it's all about that water today.
This guy drank 4 damn big ass glasses of milk last Wednesday.
No,
He
today
was
it's all
begging
about
me
water.
to get off the air. He was begging us to get off the air.
Yeah, today's all about water. We're moving over to this broadcast, this podcast, not sponsored by Great Value Water.
Yeah, at least it's Walmart, right?
Yes. I go
hey,
cheap.
thank you though for our. Do you have a bit for me? Do you have a final segment? Do we have anything?
You know, the only thing I really was, I had was, listening to Kyle Busch complain about, Talladega and how he couldn't win the race because if you got to the front, you got shoved to the back. He complained about it like there was something new at Talladega where you couldn't win if you were up front. I don't understand it. That's plate racing at Daytona, Talladega. You get to the front, somebody's going to charge them out, get around you.
Yeah.
That track is a lot about timing. You time it to where they don't have time to do that back to you. So I don't know what he's complaining about. So maybe he'll stop complaining one day.
I hate to say this, and I don't want to go into full detail on the subject because we got to get off the air, and I don't want to be on for a long period of time. But like for instance, the Denny Hamlin situation. I will say this. And I'll say this in regards to Kyle Larson, and I said it in regards to a couple of years ago when what happened. When you are a public figure and you step yourself out there in the spotlight, and I want to say this without making anybody feel offended, you have a whole lot more weight of the world on you. There's a lot more people watching you than some regular average Joe. Bottom line. That is and I'm being honest here. That is what you put yourself to go through when you became who you became. Whether it's being a successful driver, whether it's being an entertainer, whether it's being in music, movies, videos, public figure, television, radio, whatever. Listen, I've had to deal with this as well. Everybody has. Charles, and I say this humbly, everybody has a personal life. Everybody has things that they go through, things that are stressing them out, things that they don't say publicly, things that they try to keep coped on and they try to handle it on their own. I think that in regards to what happened with Denny Hamlin, granted, it was a joke. Okay, I will say this honestly, Charles. I really believe what he posted on Twitter was meant to be a joke. But it was also meant to be, hey, Kyle Larson, there's no freaking need to go through 6 lanes of traffic and then wreck everybody on the final lap. But again, as you said, Charles, at Talladega, you're going to see that. It's the last lap of the race. They're coming off that final corner. You're going through the tri-oval. You're going to slingshot engaged, if you will, in the words of Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights, to try to be there at the end to win the race. But with that being said, I think it was offensive. And the sad reality is, and the reason why I find it offensive is because of today's world, today's society, the generation that we live in ago. Because 20 years ago, when Family Guy came out, Charles, if it came out today, people would friggin' blush. They'd be offended. That show would not make it on network television. It wouldn't.
Yeah, I see, and this is my opinion, of course. This is about to get deep. I don't see it as the meme or whatever was offensive. I see it as we now take things more offensive because, that's like saying, that hamburger made me fat. No, you eating 20 of them made it's not the hamburger's fault. It's, and it's not the meme's fault. It's the way people take things. Nobody has a sense of humor anymore. And my question, and I want to know this, 2 things. One, if Kyle Larson said the N-word, it was a derogatory racial word. That was a derogatory meme towards Kyle Larson. Why does Denny Hamlin, why is he not suspended for a year like Kyle Larson was?
And that's what I can't figure out.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what I can't figure out. And a lot of people that I've spoken with have said, well, that's not as bad as saying the N-word. Well, I'm sorry. I could honestly say I can think of worse.
Well,
Like,
my
honestly, I could say I
is-
could think of worse. I mean, listen, Charles, that meme, though I laughed because I thought it was funny. It could be based as to being racial, as being racist towards Kyle Larson. I think the world of Denny Hamlin. I've known Denny Hamlin since he ran late model cars to move up to the big time. The Denny Hamlin Racing Foundation events, all those shows. He's a great guy. I think he's got a great spirit. And, you know, and I would never say he's racist because he's a part of 2311 Racing. He's part of what Darrell Wallace or Bubba Wallace Jr. is with Michael Jordan. So it's not – I honestly think that it was not based to promote racism or to bash Kyle Larson for the color of his skin. Mind you, Charles, I think it was meant to bash him in the retrospect of I'm going to drive through 8 lanes of traffic, and this meme on Family Guy from back in the early 2000s is a perfect expression of it. And it just so happened that it was an Asian woman that was on the cartoon character. If hindsight 2020, Denny Hamlin could go back and do it again, I think he would never have hit send. He never would have hit tweet.
And I
don't think he was really thinking of the ramifications of what would come from it.
He wouldn't. And let's be honest. I told you just get deep.
Which, by the way, ramifications, Toyota ain't going nowhere. FedEx ain't going nowhere. Joe Gibbs Racing ain't going nowhere.
No.
The only thing that's happened to him is he has to be showing that he's taking sensitivity training. And I'll say this also. I think every damn person in America needs to take sensitivity training.
Yeah, but and I honestly believe this. Had that part of Family Guy, that little clip from Family Guy, had it been a white lady driving, you probably, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
I think it would have been, exactly. You're exactly right. And it's because of the society that we live in today. If that tweet would have went out back in 2004, 2005, I'd even say 2010, I don't think it would get the backlash or the controversy that it is now. And again, I will tell you this. I have friends that are African Americans. I don't condone the N-word. If there's somebody around me that uses that word, I will tell them that's offensive. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't disrespect people that way. At the end of the day, we all bleed red, and I look at the society that we live in today, and man, there's people out there that are some racist people, and what we have seen in the last. And I'm saying this in the racing retrospective things. I'm not trying to go on a political, social side of things, Charles. I'm just saying in people that are in the racing industry, a lot of people's true colors came out with Kyle Larson. A lot of people's true colors came out on whether it's positive or negative of what's been going on with COVID or the social injustice of what it's done to the industry. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, there should have been a bigger penalty for Denny Hamlin than just sensitivity training. I will say this. Anybody that works at NASCAR, whether you're a driver, a crew member, a spotter, on the media, television, radio, in the PR side of things, Charles, do you have a NASCAR rule book? And I don't mean to say this in blasphemy. It's the Bible of NASCAR. And there is a certain protocol of things that you have to follow. And if you do not follow them, then there has to be penalties. I'll give you a prime example, Charles, and I want to go off subject. Let's get off the air here in a couple of minutes. Somebody we had on Finish Line, Charles, a couple of weeks ago, Daniel Dye. Daniel Dye just got suspended indefinitely from ARCA. He had something happen in Volusia Beach, Florida. He got arrested on an assault charge or alleged assault charge, and ARCA, NASCAR, same entities, quickly, immediately go and say, effective immediately, Daniel Dye is suspended. The guy ain't even been found guilty by a judge yet, or members of his peers on a jury.
Yeah.
And that's what I honestly find so crazy about the society we live in today. And I'm not bashing NASCAR and I'm not bashing ARCA. I'm not bashing anybody. But in my opinion, we live in a society today, Charles, where you're guilty until proven innocent and not innocent until proven guilty. And then if you are found to not have all these supposed allegations made. And let's be honest, the definition of the word allegation means it's just saying that it's a possibility that this is what the outcome was, not saying that this is what the official charges are or what you're indicted for. I don't know, man. I could go on and on, Charles. And again, I'm not trying to go off the subject of the social world we live in today, buddy. I'm trying to keep it in the racing related. But my friend, I wonder what the big man upstairs thinks of all of us on this God's green earth right now. I'm serious. I mean, we've literally lost sight of how we treat people. We've lost sight of humanity. We've lost sight of, and again, now don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of good in the world because I think good is always going to overcome evil. And I always say that in closing, Charles, but there's so much more negativity out there where people are trying to knock each other down instead of lift each other up. And people get more jollies out of that than putting good in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, they honestly do. Especially in the racing world, it's become a cutthroat world. Sim racing or real racing, it doesn't matter. It's a cutthroat world anymore. Like you've got to, you don't have to. I do my best not to, but people will do what they have to do to cut you down to make themselves look better. And it's sad. You were talking about everybody getting along and working with each other in the real world as far as races and stuff.
Sure.
It's trickling over into the sim world because obviously we're having bigger money races, bigger events, and you can see that trend coming over here. People, they attack each other. I see it every day in the iRacing groups and stuff. Whose fault is this? This guy wrecked me, and it's sad. I understand you have passion about the sport, but just try to get along with each other and work with each other. I've done my best to work with other producers the best I can. Obviously, I'm not going to give all my trade secrets away, but I wouldn't either. If you need help, reach out to us. I needed help yesterday. Prime example, I didn't know what was going on with our overlays. I didn't know if it was my set of overlays or if it was, ATVO in general. So I reached out to Rudy Cummings at Max Speed TV and I said, hey, granted, I don't say give out your overlays, but I used them once anyway before. So I said, hey, can you send me a copy of your overlays so I can, lock them down to where I can't edit them, whatever, just, so I can see, is it my overlays or is it all overlays? And it helped me figure out the problem. So, you've got to work with each other.
And it was something very simple. It was something very simple. Exactly.
But at the end of the day, especially sim racing and real racing, there's thousands of leagues. There's hundreds of broadcasters. There's no physical way between, our announcers having real jobs and, not having enough producers. Just here at LSRTV, particularly, we can't take every league there is. There's no way we can take every league. Not every league can afford our prices either. So I don't see the point in being cutthroat and, going to try to steal other leagues from producers or companies. This is pointless. Work together because there's a league out there for every, broadcast company at every budget. So,
certainly, I agree. I agree.
Get along and, do your best job.
Definitely. And I will say this in closing, and you can cue up our fade away music as we're going to get off the air in closing, my friend. Always
This
fun working with you.
is Finish
That's not the right
Line.
one.
Well, this has been Finish Line, past tense. And we'll do it again next Wednesday. Charles, be good, brother. We'll do it again next Wednesday, man. Thank
Yes.
you. And I'll see you tonight. Look
Yes,
at
I
see all
will be
the
here
bells and
tonight.
whistle goodies you got going on for iRacing. We'll have coverage on the Community Radio Network, by the way. Doubleheader softball coming up, Clayton and Garner. That'll be, of course, tonight. And then, of course, at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central. That's Charles time. Coverage of the Northwest Truck Series. And the trucks are at Kansas, NASCAR at Dover, World of Outlaws, Sprint Cars, late models. They're going to be, of course, at Bristol. The Goodyear All-American Speedway. Big show I mentioned earlier. Talked to Andy Marquise on the phone this afternoon. Anthony and Tanya Goodyear, Carolina Pro Late Model Series. Go support Keith and Wendy Graham. If weather interferes, which the weather forecast looks like it's diminishing. But if weather interferes, the plan is at Goodyear is to race on Sunday. This is a touring series that's coming into town. They're going to do everything they can to get the show in. Carolina Pro Late Models, Carolina Crate Modifieds, Atlantic Turfscape Super Trucks, Tim Packman, Andy Marquise, and myself will be on the call for Racing America. And I think that's it. Hey, Wake County Speedway tomorrow night. Go support the Advanced Auto Parts Advanced My Track Challenge. $50,000 can go towards Wake County Speedway and put Wake County Speedway on the map. Go support Charlie Hanson and, of course, Mr. Franklin and Mike Ray and Mark Arson and everybody there. And I'll see you there tomorrow night. Thanks to all of our guests. We appreciate y'all. We love you all. Be good to one another. Have a good one. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. Get out to the races. We'll do it next Monday, first show of May.
Hey, it's broadcast personality Wesley Outland, and for the second year in a row, the Community Radio Network is excited to also be the voice of iRacing on LSRTV every Monday and Thursday night with the Northwest Racing Series for Cup and Truck. Join yours truly, Justin Prince and Samuel Dyer, every week as they race towards a championship. We're also on the radio in the Triangle in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina area at 87.5 WCRN and anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. Click play. Check out the coverage, the power of radio to the imagination of the listener, esports style. We are the Community Radio Network, the voice of iRacing on LSRTV. Check it out when you can, and replays are always up too.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models, and they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you.